Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Say, I love, eh. Day and break, everybody on the hustle. Some people know like peace, they want some trouble. Crime rates on the increase. The government can protect the people. Hold up, no justice for the poor. Yeah, look the way we're living. We're treating one another unfair. Look the way we're living. We're treating one another unfair. Look the way we're living. What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? The hope for the future. Yeah. We have everything in abundance, but we die and rot and greed. We pray, asking the Lord for another Moses, cause all we have is pharaohs. Yeah. In our suffering, is what they're making business of. Yeah. The rich get richer and the poor people suffer. Them promise say, them bring development and better education. Our lands are fertile, no food on the land. Our children, we're pushing into begging. Look the way we're living, we're treating one another unfair. Look the way we're living, we're treating one another unfair. What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? The hope for the future. Our forefathers were taken into slavery, but in a modern time like this, we're children and slaves. We're fighting a war not with guns and bullets. The enemies I see are my brothers and my sisters. We're diggers of graves while we're still living. Don't judge a book by its covers. Looks can be deceiving. Whenever the sun shines, must come a rain. Who will come and take away the pain? Look the way we're living, we're treating one another unfair. Look the way we're living, we're treating one another unfair. Yeah. What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future?
You know, I love this song right here when they're talking about what's the hope for the future. When people are simply just about themselves, they only speak against and about issues when it's about them or when it satisfies their, desire. That is not what true advocacy and activism is about. It's about honesty, sincerity, and consistency. That's what you're talking about. Look, what's the hope for the future when people cannot even be consistent in their idea and their thoughts about a better Liberia? What is the hope for the future? That's what the man Quincy B is talking about.
Everybody on the hustle. Some people know like peace, they want some trouble. Crime rates on the increase. The government can protect the people. Hold up, no justice for the poor. Yeah. Look the way we're living, we're treating one another unfair.
Nyenwolo Vincent, welcome to the show. We appreciate all of you guys as you come on, share this show, share the video.
Look the way we're living, we're treating one another unfair. What's the hope for the future?
Gluto Eddie, welcome to the show, Bus Man.
What's the
or Bus Lady? It could go either way, right? That could be a male or a female name. So Gluto. So I just said Gluto Eddie. Eddie, Eddie, that's a boy name. So we'll say Gluto Eddie, welcome to the show, Bus Man.
We pray, asking the Lord for another Moses, cause all we have is pharaohs. Yeah. In our suffering.
Ambassador Papa F. Flomo, welcome to the show. This is always an honor and a pleasure to have all of you on here. Share the show, invite somebody, tell somebody else. The closing argument is on.
The rich get rich.
For those of you living in the United States, we want to extend our Memorial Day greetings to you. That not Memory Day, but Memorial Day greetings to all of you guys.
And the poor people suffer. Them promise say, them bring development and better education. Our lands are fertile, no food on the land.
Liberians in Pite, welcome to the show as well.
Look the way we're living, we treating one another unfair. Look the way we're living, we treating one another unfair. What's the
Eleanor Davis, you want to talk to me? You got, I want to believe you have access to my DM. Hit me up. Send me a message in my DM. I try as much as I can to, get in there. If you're not friends with me, you will still be put in the what's it called? I don't want to say. Well, you'll be put in the spam box, but I try to go through my spam messages as often as I can, and I read through them. So send me a message if you're not friends with me or you don't follow me. It will be put in the spam box, and I'll still read it on Facebook. Yeah, I'm speaking of Facebook. I'm not talking about my regular mail. So if we're not friends, you send it. It's just going to be littering out there in that spam box. So I'll go through it, and I read through it. People who have significant questions, comments, concerns, I read through them. If I feel the need to respond, I respond to them. If there isn't, but yeah, go ahead, do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, hit me up. And we can talk. But thank you for actually trying to reach out. I don't know what it is about right now, Eleanor Davis, but I hope that it's something positive that we can talk about. Every time I hear people say I'm trying to get to you, I think Liberia first. All right.
Yeah. Say, I love, hey. Day now break, everybody on the hustle. Some people know like peace, they want some trouble. Crime rates on the increase.
With the crime rate being on the increase, the man, Tomalin George is in the building right now, folks. We're going to cut the music off and we get right into business. As you are well aware, we started very late today, and due to time constraints, we want to get right into business. Now that we have our moderator here, the man who runs the show and operate everything and the man himself, St. Tomalin George, is in the building. So, folks, I'll take my step back and I'll sit in the background and wait.
Come on, Lofa. Let's do this show together, man. Come on. Today's Memorial Day. Everybody's having a nice time. Everybody had a cookout, but we sign up for this to be in Liberia. Today's not holiday in Liberia. Today's regular day.
No, today's not holiday, but there are big news going on around.
Yeah, so and some of us we're at cookout now, and people say you guys sure. So we got to come back, So
no, but Tim, let me just be honest here though. On the show tonight, it's Memorial Day. Nobody will restrict me. I will go get my bottle. I will pull my bottle. Nobody will say, "Oh, you can't be on the show." Don't be doing that. You can't be professional doing that. Is that okay with you?
I don't know, man, but I put in the room that everybody.
I'm just messing around.
Yeah, but on a serious note, there are a lot of trending news. The news is trending. The news are trending in the country. And from what we see, everybody digging deeper. Everybody trying to find out what's going on. And one thing that I've come to mind is that while it is true that Liberia, we need development in our country, we need everything in our country, but people just believe that when people just say anything, you want just run for it and fall for it, and without doing your due diligence, without checking them, finding the facts. Because sometimes I can come and like, I mean, we heard a lot of stories. I go Liberia now, I just be spending money. Everybody kind of me, I put it on. Everybody can see me. When he said to money, I say yes. When he sings my song, I give you money. He said, but they do got money. But you know what behind my money? Where I get the money from? Then maybe after a few months, they say, the man out here, the main handcuff.
The main handcuff.
What happened? The men out here giving people money. Everybody was saying the man is a new kid on the block. The man now he's in handcuffs right now, and that's what happening. That's what happened right now. As I said, why it is true that look, we want Liberia to develop, and I mean now I supported President Bouaga and his rescue team, but I can say whenever I go to bed to pray, I pray for Liberia. Because the Bible says, as Christian, we should pray for our leaders. So you pray for your leaders, for God to bless them, give them wisdom to lead the people. Because those who are leaders, they were put there by God. We honor our leaders. You may not support them, but when you are part of that nation, you must pray for your leaders to succeed. But in as much as you're praying for them to succeed, when they start to go off track, you will call them out. You don't be, even if I supported you and you are blind and you are proceeding the wrong way, I will call you out. I'm on an obligation to do that. But when we play that blind loyalism, where, okay, I supported Lofa there, but then Lofa screwing up, but then I want to be playing that blind, pretending as if what Lofa is doing is not right. That's why when I hear people, when I see Amara Conner Martin Colley, all the guys who supported the rescue mission, when they are calling them out, yes, I support them because they put Liberia first, regardless of the politics. That's why I say, because that's what we should do to make Liberia better. But if we just say because we supported something and we're blind left, for instance, a lot of questions have been asked now about that 285 yellow machine. Some people making comment like, "Oh, waiting, they try we come for you want for them to go where? They'll go to the place." But you got to ask the questions. Then tomorrow when you ask the questions, then you say, what happened? I thought they posted this one. Because you don't ask the question because you want to see development like bro so quick and fast because we are being denied development for many years. So you accept anything, which I don't think it should be that way. You should go to the right channel and people ask the legitimate questions. Okay? I mean, there's no free gift. You and I know in the world, there's no free gift in the world for especially to a country. Nobody will just give your country almost 200 plus machines just for free. Nobody love Liberia so much. Now people are doing their own due diligence. They are investigating to find out the source of these supplies of trucks. And now it is good that people who supported the rescue are the ones who are digging deeper, and they are finding all these facts. I saw a post from Martin Colley. He already described the guy who was involved as corrupt, with corrupt past, corrupt history. And Martin, somebody liking or hating, when he do his research, he will go to the nitty-gritty of it. Okay? And he will, and believe me, for the last hours, I know what he's been on. And so they'll ask the question, okay, who a deputy minister of state or Mamaka ability for minister of state, was there a place to make that announcement at the cabinet meeting? Because you think that kind of a good news of the country will come through the president. Okay, the president will have been briefed and everything, but then he will be the one to announce to the country that look, this is what we got. But the deputy minister of state made that pronouncement, and then people should not ask questions because it's good news. And trust me, I'm on my way to Liberia right now. In the next few days, I'll be in Liberia. But at the same time, I want to ride good roads. I want to see the roads. I want to be able to come from the airport and the lights all on the road, Robert Street Road, and just drive to Monrovia, go to Buchanan, go to everywhere in the country. But we must ask the questions that needs to be asked. That's why people are asking questions. People are welcoming it. So I think people should be very slow to speak. They should investigate and find out what's going on before they come up and start to criticize and attack people. So right now, we definitely supposed to really be asking the questions. But let us make this day a Memorial Day in the States. We pay homage to all those who pay the ultimate price to grant us the peace and the liberty we enjoy in this great country called America. We salute them for their valor and for paying the price that we are enjoying today. Today, you can freely speak your mind. You can criticize. You can do whatever you want to do within the confines of the law, all because of what the heroes and heroines of this great country did in the past. So it's called Memorial Day in Liberia, called Declaration Day.
Yeah.
So want to salute them and pay homage to them for what they did for us. So guys, we shouldn't make a deal lazy. Let us get to work. Let us talk. Let us debate the issues. Let us talk. I mean, one thing I like about our platform, no one is restricted.
Right.
Speak your mind. Speak your mind. Some people don't like it, but that's how it goes. So
and that's
good to see the great Duke. The great Duke is back. Good to see him. I don't know where he been on sabbatical. He been throwing
the Memorial Day, so he came to memorialize the entire platform.
Before the guys come in, the Duke supported Cummings with all his might and everything. I saw him. Right. He went to Liberia. He spent his own money to go to Liberia. He took his family there. He went through a lot. I saw this guy. He went through all over the place. He wanted change. He wanted to see Liberia move forward. He believed in the cause, believed in what he supported. When the only problem I was a little confused, right? Honestly, and maybe do with us one of these days because throughout the campaign, Duke, I don't know for what reason, but he did not attack the CDC government that you're trying to take from power. He getting a lot of pass, but he was consistently on the rescue guys. In fact, today that PF480 made him popular. Everybody when you go at PF4, when someone goes somewhere, what PF4 we're gonna see this time? What PF480? I need a guy for him. Because Library could give you some title. But when it came to the time to endorse, he made endorsement, which is right though. I respect his right to endorse or whoever. But many people felt that when he asked, they said, well, they thought Duke would have stay out. He would have said, well, look, I don't believe in the two candidates, so I would not. Like where Cummings, there's other people did, so they said, well, I would not take part. I would just remain neutral. But it's just right. One of these days you'll let us know. But guys, let us rock and roll, man. Let us get this going.
So Tomalin, I want to talk first of all, happy Memorial Day to all of you that are in the United States. Those of you who believe in the memorial aspect of the holiday, I hope you're celebrating, and whatever you're doing, if you're in Minnesota, save me some meat. If you're in the Maryland, DC area, save me some pepper soup. If you're in Liberia, save me fufu. I want to combine all of those things. So, great to be here tonight. And of course, great to have, my brother Duke here back, being a part of the discussion. Great to have these forceful voices. St. Tomalin George, again, like you said earlier, you're on your way to Liberia in few days.
People saying they should on Facebook again.
No, it's not. It is on there. It is on there.
It's on Facebook.
It is on there. Yeah, I can verify that. All right, guys, go ahead. Tomalin, keep talking. Let me just verify. I know it's on there. Sierra, can you confirm this for me, please? Is it on Facebook? Because I know that's the only way you come on. Sierra, is it on Facebook? Or Ja Eddie? Somebody says, somebody's saying it's not. It is on Facebook.
Yeah, no, I went there earlier. I tried to see, but I didn't see it.
All right, let me check on that real quick, guys. Duke, you guys handle the show, please.
Go ahead, Duke.
Okay, this is not on the TCA page. All right, let me work with that real quick.
Thank you,
guys. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, it's always good to be out here, and I've been distant a little bit, going through some personal career development stuff. That's the bulk of it, and I need a little bit of break. But it doesn't take away from the fact that we have built ourselves when it comes to issues of national concern. I think we're heavyweights in this arena, and our voices when it comes to these discussions, enlighten the minds of people. But it is great to be on here today, and great to be back in touch with the followers of the closing arguments. A lot of questions that need answers, and hopefully today we can start using the stick right to hit that 8 ball. Lofa, I'm ready, and let's get it going.
Guys, do me a favor, please check again. Make sure that we are on the closing argument page on Facebook. Let's make sure that we are on there, please.
Okay.
Let's just confirm that, because that is our primary place. So we must be on there. So let's just make sure we are on there Tomalin, can you check on that on your side?
Yeah,
Though?
I'm checking right now.
I think it's on there now, and I can.
It's on there. Yeah, I can see that we are on there
see
now.
that on there. Yeah.
Okay, we're on it. So we're good. All right. So let me talk about, and then I'm gonna. Okay, somebody. So Josh Nimley said yes. Aliyu Kamara said yes. Harry Kanga. Okay, guys, thank you all. Thank you all. You know, it's technology. Sometimes we have to deal with it. But here's what I want to say. Right, regarding what Tomalin started off with the issue of the support for the UP or the rescue train, as I refer to them as excuse train. My position here is those who are pretending, and then I used the word purposely pretending to be holding these guys accountable. This is look, Liberia. We are at a point where we must be sincere to the desire for transformation. Amara Kane position today to write an entire book about the next steps of this government won't have been the case had he gotten what he wanted. Okay? Martin Colley, the young man you want to talk about. This young man is a beneficiary of a corrupt system that he himself is a victim of. But he bought into this corrupt system and he played to the tune for which he will come out here and pretend as though he's disclosing to the public what they need to understand. That is not the truth.
Are you frozen?
Yeah, I think Lofa is actually frozen.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I can hear.
Okay. From the inception of this government, right? The inaugural funds, when the inaugural fund was misused, I challenge you to provide me an article written by Martin Colley speaking against that. Where? Anywhere you can point that out, I will honor and respect his view going forward. There isn't one that I at least saw to say, okay, yes, he was honest about his view that he will hold everybody accountable. You cannot start to advocate when you feel uncomfortable, when your requests are not being met, then you want to advocate. That is not advocacy. St. Tomalin George, you and I live in this country today. Had Martin Luther King, all right, had he played to the tune of those who wanted to keep minorities in the back, had he played to it and accepted what was given to him, you and I would not have been here today and being as vocal as we are. So let us remain consistent if we want change in Liberia. You cannot only be vocal to use that as a weapon to intimidate other people to get what you want, because you understand the gullibility of our society. That is not fair. In that regards, I say I disagree that this young man is sincere. At this point, anything he says, I use it to my advantage to say, you know what? Thank you for providing this information. The information that you provided, I may not have opportunity to assess this information, but that don't make you any different from the rest of those individuals who are perpetrators of the Hindu acts. And this is where I stand with it. The same thing with Amara Kane. This is a man who refused to publish his assets.
Yeah, Lofa, a great point, and I'm glad we get to start off. You know, I think when I came on the show, I heard, you know, my brother Tomalin, you know, discussing this and the attacks on individuals. And look, you're part of me when I'm on this show and I see Professor Larry Kennedy. I just love it, man. I really do. When you have somebody who really understands, it asks something worth to the conversation. But let me just say this. For a long time after the election, hopefully we'll get some of the answers to Tomalin's question earlier. I have been focused on the way forward for me. And I think I have an idea. There's this continued pattern of where expertise are judged based upon GPAs, or individual who claim, education background from Ivy League institution. And if we can follow that pattern, we see some of the destruction that's been caused in that country. Are these watered down experts claiming their expertise in the country wherein they don't have any proof of giving success or any kind of success story? And if I'm lying, I want somebody to be able to oppose that. Case in point, just because you go to Georgetown University or Drexel University and get out of school with a GPA doesn't mean you have the expertise needed to go solve problems or financial problems in Liberia. Just because you leave Georgetown or Drexel and go on the continent and use your buddies to get some level of gig at the African Development Bank or some kind of ceremonial position at the World Bank doesn't mean that you have the foundation to take on these issues. This is what we've been shying for a long time, and the reason why we're here. Look, nobody is saying that we shouldn't be critical and ask tough questions about accountability when it comes to government and how they're getting things. My thing here is, if we're using this particular message of transparency, credibility, accountability, we have to be careful with those who are actually the messengers. This has been the argument all along. And this is where I draw the line with Amara Khanun. Amara Khanun is good at finessing, right? And we have to be practical. And this is why I draw my sword on practicality. And I defy them and their education to stand on any platform. Let's get practical here. You want to say that your criticisms are based upon the fact that you think that the government needs to be able to respect international partnership and the AML and all of that and not violate. I get it. We understand those are valid points. But the truth here is that this was the same guy that was violating those things when he was in the position a couple of years ago. So how did this guy suddenly become a messiah or somebody who's close to authority now to start inserting some of the same things that he's been a violator of?
Right.
These are part of the issues. And prayer tell me that this is all an attempt to create some level of publicity for future political campaigns. And so in 6 years from now, you're going to have these guys on your screen claiming that they have all the solutions to address Liberia's problem. But here's the issue. Here's why we continue to go back in circle. What is it that these guys have that can solve the problems today? We see what's happening at the Commerce Ministry. We were on the show here, Professor Larkin and I, when we asked this question. And I just talked to somebody behind the scene who is a reputable person when it comes to about politics. And I said, my people, don't get mad at what Duke says. But I want you to answer this question, though. How often we've had this conversation about rice price increase and the president interfering with price control in that country? It has been a constant habit. Why do you think these things are happening? You take Joe Blow and you put him in a position that requires swift thinking and some level of expertise, no vision. What do you think he's going to do? He's going to mimic the same examples or follow the same template that the same people have been using for a long time. This is the frustration. And that's why I don't buy into this whole persona of Amara Khanun trying to hold people accountable. First and foremost, he's not the person that should be holding anybody accountable. Yes, I agree. We need to make sure we're following proper procedure, not getting into business with people that have questionable characters. But at the end of the day, though, are these messages really being championed because we care about the Liberian people, or because we have political motives that we're using the missteps to be able to add to our arsenal, right? Future political talking point. So I get it when my brother Lofa says that, and I get it when I'm saying, but these guys are not honest. They're part of the problem. They're the reason why we have all of the issues going on in this country. And Amara Khanun should just keep quiet. I'm sorry, please. You never showed up during the campaign. You didn't show any ounce of integrity. You stood there when everybody did the work, and then suddenly you want to come and be critical. Critical of who? What?
And you contributed to talking
anything to judge anybody in the action when you've been the same abuser of public trust before. You've actually used government money to bribe journalists and media personalities to promote your own agenda. You supported the government. Yes, the only reason why you're going haywire because you're not having your way, you're not having your necessary appointments, you feel that your voice is being silent, and so you're using this now as a political opportunity to criticize and promote your own agenda. Let's get serious about Liberia and stop allowing these individuals to dirty a message that should be preached by people who have the level of credibility. And this is my concern.
It will be interesting tonight. Let's welcome the Professor Larry Kennedy. It will be interesting tonight. But before I get Professor Campbell, let me say this though. I disagree with you guys on issue of Amara Kone. I have a serious disagreement with you guys. The question is, what Amara is saying, what he's saying today. I mean, is he lying? What's happening in the government? Is he lying? It's not the point about his past. What happened? It's talking about what he's.
No, it is.
What the reality is that what he's saying. What is happening today? What is unfolding? Everything Amara have already said to the public. There have been nobody from the government to come and debunk him. The president, everything he has been saying the last couple of months, nobody have come to say, well, we disagree with Amara and challenge him. Amara said, I think yesterday Amara was saying that he arranged a visit to Washington, D.C. with the IMF. And all these people, he arranged it. Nobody in the government have come and say, oh, Amara is lying. So silent make concern. So everything Amara has been saying is the fact. The issue is that he's talking about the governance of the country right now. The problem they're facing. He questioned about the trucks that the people said they would come to Liberia. He questioned it. He making asking legitimate questions about it. Okay. He talked about the way appointments have been made. The president, he's not really on top of things to know that he's in charge of what's happening. We all know what's happening. We see what's happening. Issue about the rights. And there's the man who look. You may not. I'm not a fan of Amara. Honestly, right? I got issue with Amara on different issues, but what he's saying, he's not saying nothing that's a lie. He's not making these things up. Okay. There's a man who was Minister of Planning in the alien government. They went to the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. So he has the experience. He has the education. He's been there. He's been at the table. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you saw when he was Minister of Finance. Yeah, they have the issues, but at least they deliver that landed them 2 terms. They were supposed to get 2 terms. They never got sanctioned. Most the people never got sanctioned. So if there was anything wrong or bad, maybe people would say, well, maybe would have seen something. But honestly, what he's saying, what they are all saying today, they supported the rescue mission. They supported it, right? That was their right. Okay, some people supported the other side. When election ended, President Weah conceded, the election was held. But what they are saying today, are they lying? That's the issue. For me, I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about what they are saying today, what we are facing today in the country. What's trending today? Today we talk about the rice issue of rice, talking about the issue of the 285 yellow machines. What they are saying, I mean, are they lying? Professor Kennedy.
Look, it's always good when you say I came running downstairs to my office if I saw Duke pop up in here. I said, if Duke is going to be on this show, it's going to be serious, right? You get Duke, you put a little pinch of Lofa in there, you cook it some hot soup, my man. You got it about to start making the place boil over. so I said, yeah, I was going to throw my shirt on and run downstairs quick, hop in my office, because this is going to be interesting, right? Because Duke is not here running a popularity contest. He's going to tell you the truth, and it's up to you. You can believe it, or you can choose not to believe it. But at the end of the day, he's not running some popularity contest where you got to go vote for him. And Lofa, he's in that same bucket. You guys going to come and speak their mind, right? So I like the fact when Duke mentioned, so it's always great being on the show with Duke and Lofa and you, Chief. I like the fact that Duke is mentioning the fact about practical experience, right? Because I think a lot of the issues you're seeing happening in Liberia, people talking about running to the IMF, the World Bank, look, that strategy hasn't worked, right? Because when the IMF put you in one of the extended credit facility program, they are handcuffing you and making it difficult for you to raise capital in the sovereign debt market, which is where you need to go, which is where countries like Ghana tends to go to raise huge billions and billions of dollars. Albeit they messed up in terms of not using the money for development purposes. They did some fiasco over there, but that's a different thing. But here's the thing that really concerns me, Chief, is the fact that during the time that Unity Party was in power, right? So Amara is criticizing the administration of which was in power for at least 12 years. During the time they were in power, the Liberia received the highest amount of support from the U.S. government. I think it was in 2016. They received the highest amount of support at any given time from the U.S. government. So that money got squandered. It was wasted because they didn't do a great job in developing the healthcare system, setting up the governance that is being criticized today. All of those infrastructures weren't put in place during that time, right? And I think, Chief, you mentioned that during Ellen's time, they weren't sanctioned. Well, bear in mind, the Global Magnitsky Act was passed like in December of 2016. So it missed them. It missed them, right? Because in 2017, when by the time the election happened in 2018, we came in, we started seeing the global mag hitting people all over the world. So it missed them. So bear in mind, the new one that was passed recently, I think in December or so of last year, is a little bit more drastic because now they're not just going to sanction you. They might even have you arrested, depending on what exactly you're involved in. Look, it tends to happen that people seem to get wisdom after the fact. In Liberia, people tend to get a whole lot of wisdom when they leave power. I'm not sure what are they drinking when they're in power. They don't do all these things that they want to do or all the things that they promise to do. But as soon as they leave power, all of a sudden they go and they drink from the fountain of infinite wisdom, and they have the solution to all the problems that they didn't solve while they were there. They didn't solve. I can remember a specific point in time going all the way back, maybe about even 10 years ago, when the late Lawrence Randall was supporting the Ministry of Finance and Americona and all those things. The World Bank pumped, I think, about $8 million to try to figure out, in case West Point got hit with a flood, what would be the disaster recovery strategy to evacuate people from West Point? That money, I followed that project for a long time, and I could never find out what the disaster recovery strategy would be in for West Point. And we know West Point is kind of washing off into the Atlantic Ocean, right? So all of these things, then, they've been in existence before, during the time Amar was there, it was in existence. The governance structure was never put in place. Now that he's left, I'm sure, I mean, I don't see what, it's okay for him to say what he's saying because he doesn't really need to kind of, his job is not dependent on the president, so he's speaking out now. But the person who in that administration I have so much great respect for was the former Justice Minister, Christiana Tai, who said, look, if I can't prosecute the sons of this president, I'm not going to sit over here and waste my time. And she resigned. And today, I still have love and respect for that woman because, look, that woman stood up for what she believed into the fact that when, what was the company name? Some newspaper, they were publishing things. They published an article, man. She fought that thing to the U.S. Supreme Court. How many people knew that Christiana Tai had a case in the U.S. Supreme Court? Challenging issues that took place in Liberia. I'm telling you, man, a lot of the issues that took place in Liberia during the Unity Party time, they're resurfacing. They're happening again. And it goes to the point that Duke mentioned. It's just maybe the lack of practical experience. The people who came in got all these big degrees. What was missing was the practical experience. So if I had a chance, I mentioned this on the show before, if I had a chance to travel through, let's say through Nimba, and I have someone with a doctoral degree from Harvard who studied biology, and I got the old papi, whose great-grandfather lived in the forest in Nimba. His grandfather lived there. His father lived there. He lived there. That man got more practical experience than the guy who sat in Harvard looking at pictures in a book. I would go with the man with the practical experience because why? He knows he's been there and he's done that. So a lot of the people that come with degrees, but they're missing the practical experience. They don't have the financial experience. They haven't worked in the financial sector for decades. It's a ministry of finance. You need to know finance. If you want to do economics, go to the central bank, right? So, yeah, I mean, that's why I kind of enjoy when Lofa was speaking. I enjoy when Duke was speaking. And now you talk about cayenne pepper. Throw some Tabasco sauce in there. You're not bring Choo Choo Jones over here.
So Professor Kennedy, give me a second. I want to throw something in here real quick. Tomalin, let me say this, right? And this is why very often we find ourselves just turning around and can't find a solution because we are consistently dwelling on theories. Like Professor Kennedy rightfully said, he's a professor. He's not Lofa Julius. He's not Duke. Neither will he be Alex Jones, anything close, all right? But here's what we're talking about. The idea of understanding the practical aspect of what you are part of, enhance your ability to implement. This is why we are suffering and why we are where we are. Because we continue to buy into, like Professor Kennedy said, and then I'll give you the opportunity to bring Alex on. Those who consistently project themselves as experts based on their theory or what they believe they really understand. After you have Googled few words, you come and project yourself as an expert, as compared to an individual who have the practical understanding and have applied the knowledge in the real world environment. Will say to you, you will often see them sitting in the background, like Professor Kennedy. You rarely see this man on every social media platform trying to project himself as an expert. You will not see these people out there because they understand the issue. And this is why I said those who are pretending to this, like the Amara Kane and the other young men you mentioned, look, we must be serious to move Liberia forward. These individuals are not bringing these things to the public because they sincerely believe that it must be brought to public ridicule and they must stop. It is simply because their piece of the pie wasn't given to them, so now they are upset about that, so they want to appear as though they are speaking against it. And these are the issues. These are the things that have been happening all along in Liberia, and that's why we are where we are. Thank you, Tomalin.
And I know
before
Chuchu's coming in, I just want to struck a point quick, but I'll give the moderator a chance. I don't want to take his job from him because if I get run over by one of those young machines.
Let me throw this out again. Again, I will say again though. Everything you guys saying, you guys have legitimate points to make an issue. But the issue today that the Liberian people are facing right now, they are talking about. They're talking about what Amara, what he did in the past, what Madikoli said in the past. They are talking about what they are saying. Are they lying? That issue that was trending all over social media, all over the country. What they are saying, what they are saying on their writing. Are they lying? Answer the question.
Let me get to the point because I think it's interesting, Professor.
Everything they have said, they have written. You can go on the pages, you can see it. Are they lying? Are they making it up? This is not what happening. Recently, the Deputy Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, Mamaka Ability, at the cabinet retreat, she announced that they're getting 285 earth-moving trucks. Okay, the question is being asked. They want to know more about the procurement of these trucks. How the negotiations were held. Who's behind this? Now, people are digging behind it. They have found that the source of this for these guys who are trying to do it. They say he has some shady character. They are checking on it. So what they are saying, the issue about the rights, issue about the governance of the country, what they have been saying, writing, are they lying? So look, the election was during the election, people took sides. They said it, people said all kinds of things. It's over now. They supported the regime, right? But now they are coming and say, look, even though we supported the rescue mission, but what they are proceeding is wrong. So we're calling them out. So the question is, like people want to know, are they lying? What they are saying, what they are writing, are they lying? That's the question.
All right. So I want to say this. In our society, every time a conversation comes up, we don't have the courage to address that particular issue in its totality. We always want to sectionalize it and focus on one aspect because we think it creates some kind of talking point for one side. I'm not going to subscribe to that because I'm not doing a monologue here, but I'm going to stick to the issue. And the issue here is, it's not about we want, and I said this when I wrote yesterday and today. Is it wrong to question the government decision making in terms of getting into contracts for machines or whatever it is? It's not wrong. Accountability is key. It is not wrong to want more details when it comes to transactions your government are undertaking. Absolutely not wrong. But the thing that we're missing here, who's asking those questions? That's the key. Who's asking those questions? Why do we allow people to champion causes that should only be carried by individual that's got the credibility to speak on those issues? And we cannot ignore that. I'm not looking for Jesus to appear today when Jesus decided to be a devil and then suddenly sees an opportunity in a space that requires sanctity and think that the devil can switch from his satanic robes and wear all white garments and say, you know what, hallelujah, to this Easter, I'm going to adopt this personality. This is like saying, A man walks into my house today and he robs my entire house and steal everything. Police come and arrest him. 2 days later on, this man is claiming now to be member of the police department who found salvation 2 days later on. If we need people who are pushing accountability, let those people be individuals who come with the equity of decency, but not a man who's violated the same things that he's saying today. We don't need no redeemers. We don't need no new Costa. We don't need no heroes in Liberia. This is why we've gotten into trouble. I don't need any explanation from Amara Khan, who's been one of the most disastrous public servants in the history of the Republic of Liberia. And so people want to, behind the scenes, run political campaigns for these individuals who are rebranded criminals, rebranded abusers of public trust. You can go ahead and do that, but not under my watch. So this conversation is not about if he's saying what is right or all that is right. No, he has all right as a public servant in his capacity to question his government, but he is not the right messenger, and he has violated the same AML we're talking about today. This is a man that used public funds to bribe media personality. This is a man who sat there and witnessed the worst atrocities under his government and remained mute about it. I'm not sure what water he drank or what political mission he's on, but we're not going to dignify it. And you know what? Yes, we can agree there are missteps under this government. We can be critical of public servants, but we will not allow this space to be clogged by individuals who have exhibited nothing but worthlessness in this space, rebranding themselves to promote their own political agenda. This is the conversation, the reason why I'll hold him accountable.
Before I bring Chuchu Jones in, this question still have not been answered. What they are saying is now the issues that are trending today. The issues that are trending today is what they have been saying. Are they lying? The question. Forget about what they are.
I think you missed the response. You missed the response. That's not a question.
The issue is.
Tell me, are you campaigning for Amara today? Are you campaigning for Amara Khan?
I'm not campaigning for him, but
okay, but absolutely, because it seems like we're defending. We're looking at a.
But you guys.
But Chief Tomalin, let me say this. You don't have to be that way. We can't. You can't sectionalize a conversation and say, "Oh, are they lying?" That's not the argument. And I said this. What I said, but I said it repeatedly in my statement a few minutes ago. I said he has all right. We have all right to question our government. That's not the issue. The issue here is who's questioning the government. I can't allow a thief to question other roles when that person is a rogue. I can say Lofa Julius stole my chicken when you've been in the community stealing people's chicken around here. I'm saying that this individual does not have what it takes to question anybody because he's been the face of disaster. He's been part of the problem, and he's only doing it not because he believes in the Liberian people, but because he sees an opportunity to exploit a space that requires people with dignity and decency to speak. That is my conversation.
So okay, let's bring.
Well, I thought we were spectators here, but thank you for bringing me in.
Well, no, you can put out your papa. You can put out your papa and chair lead.
Professor, you got you have shipped this discussion tonight because you play.
Can you guys hear me?
Reference to you a lot. So, but let's go.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Alex. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be on the closing argument with you fine fellows. Based on what I'm hearing, the debate and dialogue that's going on about American and all of that, I would say this much. Duke point here is that American does not have the moral rectitude to bring forth any suggestion or to criticize the government. And what you were saying that is what he's saying has an validity. Okay, that's the issue we're discussing. I just want to make sure. Okay. I kind of disagree with you both. On the one hand, the reason why I think Duke Amakona is so popular and famous and such a threat in our political dispensation today is open knowledge that Amakona will be running in 2029, or at least be one of the vice candidates for somebody. And if George Weah picks him, the CDC will be in a better position. So I can understand why some of the other people are shivering, and they're concerned that Americana, who has come from being vilified, all right, in the press and in his jobs, now to becoming a national hero and won election. So I can understand the frustration. I can understand the political parties that participated. I can understand the frustration. And I'm not going to beat them. Okay? And
I'm not going to
currently,
beat us.
I'm not going to.
And I'm going to beat
Not
us.
us. I did not I boycott the election. So
okay, I forgot that part.
Dude, come on, man. Come on.
I forgot that part. Go ahead. Let him go ahead.
Let me stop interrupting me, please.
Okay, I forgot that part. Go ahead.
All right. I'm not gonna beat you massively. His candidate won you.
The man
so I can see
2 minutes. I know 30 seconds. You're 2
but
minutes.
The people went back. People that went back and forth. And so I start speaking now. I got 2 minutes.
No, because the time was
went 3 times. I on the phone or 3. No, I mean, you're preaching fairness and you're preaching lack of corruption.
Let's go ahead. The man already told you it's okay. Go ahead, bro.
Okay, but why it has to come on now?
I know.
I already told you. He said we interrupted you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I gave up your 30 seconds.
He called us out for interrupting you.
Right.
So take it and run with it.
So listen, the fact remains here is they don't have competition towards Amarcone. I do not like Amarcone personally in terms of his leadership, but Amarcone has outsmarted them, outfoxed them, outfoxed their political leader, and that's what they're upset about. Everybody has the right to express their views in the government. Everybody has the right. Nobody's stopping CDC or ANC or Alex Jones or anybody from coming up and promoting your candidate and your ideas to the Liberian people. If you fail to do it effectively or you don't have the ability to do it, Amarcone does it, and the people sway to his end, then that's your problem. And that's what's happening here right now. I mean, like we said, we all know most of the candidates, the 4 candidates, 3 other candidates, Gongolo, ANC, Alice Cummings, they have all the media. They have all the opportunity. They travel the country. They saw their messages. They did everything against the poor guy. And the people just didn't buy them. They bought Amarcone and his party. So what happened with Amarcone? I say this to say that's not my issue. My issue here today is to promote my agenda. What I see Liberia, how to move Liberia forward and to provide solutions. Not to say waste my time on Amarcone. And what I'm seeing here is that one, this Amarcone is not the first person who came out and said this government is a failure. Alex Jones was the first individual in the history of Liberia immediately after the election to predict what's happening right now. That this government will fail on every front, economically, socially, and politically. You're giving Amarcone the wrong credit. When Amarcone then was jumping up around and was so optimistic and was talking, Alex Jones was the one who came out and said, what it's saying is baloney. It doesn't make any economic sense. So what you should be seeing here is that Alex Jones told you guys these things during the election, after the election, and even after Walker won. Because that's the fact.
Never heard your
that is the fact.
Discussion.
No, on this very show, we can put a clip on. On this very show, Tomalin, you can attest to it. The clips are there. If you say you're in Liberian politics, then you must read. I've written about it.
No, it's not about reading. It's about allocating my time to something that's worth importance. Why would I want to discuss your agenda?
You interrupted me when I finish. You can
go. No, but you call my name. Why would I want to discuss your agenda? That's what I'm confused about.
This is what I'm saying here is Amarcone was not the point that Amarcone is making are not new points. And you're validating it by saying, why should people listen to him? People have a right to listen to him because he has his own supporters. You have your own account. You fail to put up concrete evidence. You fail to go and attack the government. You fail to go out and call the government a failure. So that's what Amarcone is doing, and that's what Alex Jones is doing. So, like I said, what he's saying, to answer your question, Tomalin, the point he's making are all valid, not because you don't like somebody. So if they're making a valid point, then you have to criticize them. I just pointed out the man is one of the few senators in Liberia that got website. The man is one of the few senators in Liberia that writes. What Canada in Liberia even write and publish beside the few of us? So you can't be in politics and not do what is necessary and then get mad at other people for doing it. So you're toughen up, you build up your force, and you start doing some of those things, and maybe the Liberian people will start listening to you instead of Amara Corner.
Thank you. Welcome, Grace. Look, guys, look, let's make it interesting. Everybody will be talking at least 2 minutes every time we get to talk, so we can enjoy it. So,
thank you.
But again, as I said again,
yeah, absolutely.
What's trending in the country today is not Amara Corner. It's not about Martin Cody, what he did, what he didn't do. It's the people are talking about the meeting are happening. Everybody talking about now. All the chat room we're in, 285 trucks. That's why everybody trying to find out what they should dig behind it. So like I'm saying. Whatever they are saying today, until the government, nobody in the government has come out to debunk what they have been saying, though. I've not heard the president to say, or the minister of state of the deputy minister of Mamaka ability to say, what he's saying is not true. I will explain more about this. But nobody have come to say, well, we'll give you guys a detail on how about the whole of procurement about these trucks. Look, I will say again. We want these trucks to come to Liberia. We love it, but we cannot. Larry, after Grace talk, maybe you come in and tell us you work in the corporate system. You know all these things. There's no free lunch. Nothing free is given in the world of everybody. So 285 trucks to a country is not just coming for free. It's only behind. But find out how they reached to that agreement. How they came to that agreement.
Before Grace come in, if you don't mind, I would like to chime in.
So let Grace just come in.
Let me just say this before Grace come in, Tomalin, quickly.
Yeah.
30 seconds. You know, the point that we are making here, we are not saying that their point is not valid. What we are saying here is that you will often say the messengers. Let us look at the messenger, because if you can record, all of us on here, if you ever visited Duke's page, he made it clear the decision is not one that we should celebrate without having to follow the process. There's no difference in that. But what you want to project is these individuals as the actual presenter of the saving message. And that's why Duke and I are saying here to you that even though you want to make it projected as what it is, that is not the truth. Because in reality, these individuals bear no brain. Neither do they have any moral rights to sit here and try to question the same thing that they participated in. And that is our position. Thank you. Go ahead, Grace.
Okay, yeah, Grace. But you have Grace. Let me just give Grace this time. But also to react to that, they have the courage. If you I respect somebody who will support something, and when the thing is not going right, they have the courage, the fortitude to say, look, I support you, but I will tell you what you are proceeding is wrong. And what you
were the same person who asked me, why am I so critical of the law? You were the same person who asked, why am I so critical of the law?
Exactly.
Yes, my Grace.
All right.
Well, thank you for having me. I want to say thanks to the people that are listening to today, and I want to say hi to the panelists. Sometimes Tomalin, I was already wrapping in my bed and in my money room. Relax. 1 minute you say, I won't bring it here, but please, let's not.
Well, you already started though, so don't do it.
Yeah, but what I want to say is that when you want, there's a place and a time for everything. Even the Bible said it. We are here now because Amara Kone, I went to school with 12 graders together. Amara Kone is right now saying what he's supposed to say. What you guys are saying, you want to come against Amara Kone, you wait for the time and the place to come for him. Now, right now, the Liberian people focus on what is going on in the country. Amara is the one that exposing stuff. So therefore, we're going to be after his case and make sure that he come up and say what he has to say. You cannot sit there and tell us what Amara Kone moral rectitude. What moral rectitude do you have? You are behind Connie Sada for Sada, you switch, brother man. You keep behind Bwaka and you supported Bwaka. You know people who follow you, they were behind you because you were behind a certain person. And then you switch and told them, say, well, you're looking at this way now. So they should tell you that you don't have any moral rectitude. Or do Amara Kone stance is in a different light, or what he did, that you claim that he did is in a different light. But he has the right now, what is going on, to come and speak to the Liberian people. And he is one of the few senators that's speaking to the Liberian post. So we're embracing for now because we need to know. We need to know. We thank God for Amara Kone and Martin Colley at this time. And don't get me wrong, God, Martin Colley and myself, when I ate in the campaign, I felt that as a young man, he should have joined a united front with people like me, one force to push another person or candidate who was in the race, young like himself, and have the credentials and everything to lead Liberia forward. Look at what Senegal did. Everybody praising Senegal, but you're still running behind old people. So we tired when I mean old people who can't even lead the country forward. So we sit down here and we don't understand. We get confused that how you say now that Amara Kone should not speak. People like Amara Kone don't speak. How we getting information here? Everybody must hush. Amara just told on his Facebook platform that the Booker Rice's office, in that office, he said that the people information concerning the gas slip and the free lunch stipends, everything they were taking or something like that. And you think we don't need to know that information? I was very shocked, and I even told my friend, I said, wow, people working there, we can't even get a free lunch. These people got lunch stipends, and they got gas there. They see that they're taking pay every month. I see why everybody dying to work in the Liberian government. So thank God that Amara Kone was able to expose that fact. So that's the reason why that we still need a person like Amara Kone. Now, if he's running for president, it's another thing. Then you can come here and state what you have to state. It will be in that time, because you want to stop him because you have information on the corruption that he did and everything that you can prove with evidence. But right now, for Liberian government to continue to exist and for the information to be out there, say Joseph Bagala Bubo, Amara Kone need to come and tell us what's going on, and we appreciate him for doing that.
All right, let me respond. No, Tomalin, 1 second. When we're on the show and you 1 second. When we're on the show and you talk about moral rectitude, and you want to be disrespectful, I will go ahead and respond. Grace, let me tell you this. First and foremost,
bring your own brother.
When you're discussing moral rectitude, I don't think you understand the context of moral rectitude, right? I think your lack of understanding, you're using words because you think you need to use it. Let me educate you. No, you're not gonna stop me. No, you're not gonna do it. You're not gonna do it. You're not gonna do it. There's a difference. There's a difference going into the second round. Since you don't know, I think you're just on this platform to talk, and you have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, Professor,
because you struggle with understanding. Let me educate you a little bit, and I will do this. No, 1 second. Let me educate you. I don't want to be disrespectful, and I think it's wrong. We can have a conversation without being rude.
Yeah,
we can have a conversation here, even though we disagree.
Let Professor Kennedy talk. Let him chance.
To be condescending to nobody here.
I got something very important to say.
Let me
go ahead and do this. We're not gonna sanction. Professor, trust me, I'm not gonna.
Just give me 6 seconds.
Let me just clarify.
Let Larry speak.
It's very important. It's very important.
Let Larry speak.
You see, one of the things that when we come on TCA that is so important for the audience is if they see us going back and forth like this, like we kind of at a loggerhead, we're fighting like that, it would turn a lot of the viewers off, right? Yeah. So we can agree to disagree, but this may not be the time and place for the political argument. So I know you kind of steam right now. You really want to go at it, but just take a deep breath and just give it like another round. Let's see, let cool heads prevail right now, and let's see if we can come to some agreement.
Let me just say this.
But I want us to
I don't want to hold on to my thoughts.
I'm
not gonna. No, trust me.
You gotta wait for everybody else.
But
no, and I will do it.
Everybody else speak.
I'm not saying that.
You're not. But we're gonna come around again. The reason why
when your time comes, you will talk. You will address it.
Come around again and you speak.
I was personally attacked, and I feel like I need to be able to address it right away. I think it's necessary.
That was not any personal attack.
I would say that. No, Grace, you went there.
We'll come around to that in a second.
You went there, and I think I need to clarify. You went there.
Kennedy got the floor.
You went there, Grace. You went there. You went
ahead to yourself a little. Hold that thought right there, too. Hold that thought right there. So Tomalin has been asking these questions repeatedly, and it looked like it gives the appearance like we're talking it, right? Because if we asking the question, look, this is what the people are asking. Is what my man Martin Colley or what Amara Kone or what others have been saying in terms of their criticism of the government, in terms of the observation, let's not call it criticism, the observation. Are they true? That's what Tomalin had been asking repeatedly. So let me answer that question. We put everything aside, whether American running for president, whether he was in the previous government, whether he's this, he's that. Let's put everything aside and let's just be fair and balanced for a second. What Americana is saying, or what Martin Kohler is saying, or what others are saying, is all based on factual observation, right? They're seeing these things happen right now and they're calling it out. So what they're saying is true, right? Because you're not blind to the issue with the issues going on with the rights. We're seeing it. We're not blind to the issues of the governance. We're seeing it. We're not blind to the issues of all of these trucks they're saying coming in, because you can't have that many trucks. You can have that number of trucks coming in and not explain how you're going to pay for it, right? Because you're at a risk of debt default. You're not able to borrow money right now because you're at a high risk of debt default. You're over $2 billion or so in debt. A majority of your budget right now goes to debt repayment. So how are you going to finance 200 and something trucks? So you're telling us you're going to do this, but you're not explaining how you're going to do it. Because all of these guys, Duke, I've seen him ask this question. I see my man Choo Choo ask this question. Tomalin, all you guys have asked this question. Everyone seems to tell you how or what they're going to do. The one thing they fail to tell you is how they're going to pay for it. Because you can say you're going to set up the first airlines for the Republic of Liberia, but how are you going to pay for it? You don't have the money. You are broke. You do not have the money. So I set all criticism aside. These people are simply observing what's going on. And the reason why I kind of give Americana some credit is because if the other legislator were to follow suit, you will be able to hold the government feet to the fire. Because right now, people are afraid to speak out. Why? Because they want to kind of get their way with the government. Maybe there's something in it for them. They don't want to speak out. But let's be honest. Let's be honest. If we don't speak out and say what is going on is wrong, the poor people will suffer. If we see the government doing something wrong, we don't say something. We know the money should go to buying medicine. We don't say something. The poor people then will suffer. And the majority of the poor people are in the rural village. So they don't have the voice like the people that are in Monrovia to kind of speak out. So when we have these kind of shows, let's set partisanship aside for a second and let's just speak the truth. I'm not mad at Amarat. He has the right to speak the truth, and what he's been observing, absolutely, he's on point. So I give him credit for speaking out, because there are others in there that could be speaking out, but they're not saying squat right now. So, Martin Kohler, despite all the criticism Martin Kohler take, I give Martin Kohler credit for one thing. He's consistent. Where he gets fed up with something, he can write a little book, but he will blast it out. He will break it down for you. So, there are observing something that's going on, and they're speaking the truth.
Yeah, okay, like Professor said, right? Look, there will be time. Politics, we have time for politics, everything. Look, it will come for politics when Amara or Martin and they want to try to run for a position in this country. I come in Lofa, the moment will come where they will want to come forward, the records will be on the line. We'll look at the records. But right now, that we're all saying, rest training. Look, right now, let me just share something with you guys. Okay. This lady who, the lady who announced Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, now you want me? All right. Let me go ahead. Let me speak to this, right? Oh, all right, guys. So I would not speak, but I was just let me see here. I'll bring somebody else on to just chime in on here. Duke, I will give you the chance. I'll give you 2 minutes to speak on the issue. Let's get away from the discussion of these individuals. Let's discuss the I guess the equipments that are being mentioned all around the social media from the government. What is your perspective? What do you think of it? What do you make of it? Is it
so? Look, as I said, I think you saw my write-up, and you've listened to a couple of stands that I had on this issue. Mm-hmm. Every citizen have the right to question their government. That's not the argument. The argument is not if it is wrong to question the government and ask those questions necessary to get details about transaction. I think we've been pushing this thing. We push it doing the e-tom financial, EBOMAV, and all of this thing that we held people accountable. But I think my thought process towards this has to do with the messengers, people who are taking on this cause. And we don't have to wait for election time before we question the credibility of a repeat offender. You don't say that you will wait until somebody go and molest somebody before you start talking about molestation. That's the wrong way to go. We're in a society wherein people like to create new gods. And because when these new gods are preaching and singing in a tone that sides with them, then everything else that other people say is wrong and those people are right, right? But they have their own opinion. And that's what I think about it. I think from a development perspective, we need those things, right? However, as I stated, practically, ethically speaking, there's a process involved making sure that we're not getting into deals that's going to, overburden the country in terms of debt, that we're not making deals with individuals who will compromise leadership. Those are key components that we have to be certain of. And in this level,
I hate to interrupt you, but let me just shift over. Let me just turn over authority to Professor Kennedy to moderate. And I'll say in the back, Professor Kennedy, go ahead, moderate, and I'll say in the back. I sit back and follow.
We have all of the options, to do those things, right? And I think the conversation here now is about, who's occupying the space to tell us what's right and what's wrong anymore, right? And how do we give credence to this individual when they've been the same abuses? And I think that's the majority of the argument here. Finally, let me say this: we went to an election. Constantly on this app for the past 6 years. I have been supportive of the ANC and Mr. Comics agenda. I used my finances when they defended, did what I needed to do, and came back. In the second round of the election, we were faced with determining who to support. And I was in Liberia. I had a lot of meetings with people from CDC and both political parties. My decision in the second round to support doesn't mean that I remove myself from the agenda that I initially supported. The fact here is that we presented a way forward to the Liberian people. And unfortunately, the Liberian people opted for two of the political parties, system political parties that they believe could guide them in the direction that they needed to go. At that point in time, as me, knowing me, the person I am, my intent was never to stay on the sidelines and say, I'm going to not participate in the second round. And I did the best of the two remaining options. That has nothing to do with, morality. That has nothing to do with dishonesty. Dishonesty is if I accept a bribe to support somebody and put my own values aside, then that's a questionable thing. But if I took my time and saw two options and I decided to go with something that I believe was better than the other one, I don't see how that is wrong. And I don't think we should use words to put on people that just doesn't make sense. That was the conversation that I was trying to delve into. And I think when I came on the show, Tomalin, initiated that particular conversation. I think it's my right to associate. I wasn't paid by the ANC. I nearly lost my life because of the ANC. Y'all know I nearly got killed at the ANC headquarters when I went to Liberia. A lot of people don't know this, right? And I stood with conviction. I refused monies, right? And I went with what I felt was best. But it doesn't mean that we can be critical. When Amara Khanna comes out here, he does something. If we feel that we need to stop, we will do that. But I'm a different person. And I think all of us should be able to speak freely on these issues. And we shouldn't be selective, or we shouldn't say somebody cannot say a certain thing. I'm holding this man based upon all that I know, right? And I'm not saying that he's wrong for bringing these issues. I'm saying he just doesn't have the credibility. And when I'm saying credibility, I'm talking about all of the missteps in terms of questionable practices, unethical behaviors. That's an issue of morality, unethical. Have you engaged in anything unethical here? Can anybody say wherein I was involved in anything unethical? Absolutely not. Okay. Can I say that there were discussions that even proved in terms of audio evidences where Ambra was actually on the phone and actually paying off media personalities to keep them hush on corruptions in the country under the watch? Yes, it is a public information. That's an issue of credibility in the United States using the same anti-money law. Yes, using the same AML. 1 second, tell me I'm almost done. Using the same AML that Amra is using to hold the government accountable. If Amra was a public official in the U.S., Professor Larry Kennedy can agree. That's a 5 years prison sentence with $250,000 in fines for violating AML willfully. That's the argument. That's the conversation. And this is the discussion we're at, and not just going there and randomly talking. So if you know of anything that I've done morally that you can question whether I've actually been a dishonest person in terms of my own personal morale, bring it up and let's talk about it. But I think with the life that I've lived, I've been an individual who's been about selflessness, who's been about doing the right thing. That's why you don't see me in trouble with nobody. And to come and question that, I think it is wrong. And I think we shouldn't go that route. Let's be mindful how we're addressing one another.
So the issue is, but right now, look, we are talking about the trending issues in the country. I mean, is Mamaka Bedded in using National Investment Commission, director head of the National Investment Commission? I mean, we have people that have been taxpayers are paying to do certain jobs. So we expect them to be involved in any kind of negotiation that Professor Kennedy regularly said. And somebody just said that he's on point, because exactly when you're negotiating the kind of a big deal for the country, you need the people that are involved who are being paid to be part of it. So how can this lady who just a deputy minister of the Ministry of State go and negotiate such a huge, I mean, that thing costs, I think I'm millions of dollars it costs, okay? That kind of a deal for the country. And we just sit down and let it happen. So these people are making they are expressing legitimate concerns. They're raising legitimate points, because tomorrow, if we ignore and say, oh yeah, because one machine, then tomorrow when something happens, they say, the Liberian government have been sued because the machine they were taken to the country, the people need their money. They will start saying, oh, I thought the thing was free. So that's why I ask these questions. Culture comes in the picture. It's important. So let me hear from Lofa, go to Grace, and back to Professor Kennedy.
So Tomalin, I hate that, we continue to make it appear as though we are not addressing the key issue here. I hear you consistently say the issue is the equipment that is being negotiated, whether it is being done the right way. I think, and I want to believe Professor Kennedy spoke directly as to what he made of the decision. Duke also did similar thing. As a matter of fact, Duke provided the balance to this entire discussion as to why he believed that it is not fair, neither is it right for this to be done, but the messenger. And he highlighted that. Part of the reason why we are here today is the fact that we often focus on the issue at hand and not think of how can we dig deeper, all right, and analyze the problem totally so that we can find a solution. Why it is true that we want the detail of this entire process, how the equipment was obtained, who's paying for it, how it's being paid for. These are things that we want. And we support those that are in the trenches, the Amarakane, all right? He's opportune to information that you and I may not have. Duke and I may not have this information because he's part of government, all right? And the position he's serving. But what we would not do is to sit here and glorify an individual who is a contributor to the problem for Liberia. And this is why Duke is saying to you, look, why it is true that we must appreciate the fact that they are presenting this information to the public for public, whether it is ridicule or just mere information, but we must also be cognizant of their contribution to why we are here today. We don't agree that this government will simply just go in and out and purchase equipment and bring them to us. We want to know who's paying for it. I made a post earlier yesterday, as a matter of fact, today. This could be the Lofa Mountain that have just been sold for these particular equipments. How do I defend it? I am not aware of how it was processed. The procurement process must be followed. And this is why I'm saying to you, I don't believe in any of those individuals, any one of them, because tomorrow, those individuals could get paid and they will come back with their own narrative as to why they think now it's okay for us to buy into this idea. That's why we are saying, due to the inconsistency of Professor Kennedy can come and tell me, Lofa, I have followed, I have investigated, and I have observed the process here. I think it is in the best interest of Liberia, considering that I'm supposed to be, of course, a level-headed person. I would have already considered that it is okay for Liberia to pursue. But when the Professor Larry come and say, oh, this is good, I should consider his input. You know why? Because he is a man of moral support, ground, and everything else that comes with that position statement. But when one of those who are considered perpetrators of these consistent acts that got us to where we are today pretend to be the presenter of ideas that is supposed to rescue Liberia, you will not get me to consent to those kind of ideas, because you're not in the interest of Liberia. You're in the interest of your pocket. This is my position. The information they are providing to us, Tomalin, in short, thank you to them, for giving us the information. But in reality, that information we will use to fight the government to be consistent in transparency, but they are not, and they would not be considered the ones that they want to be considered as. No.
Okay. In it, like you said, look, in the absence of right now the opposition, I don't know whether the opposition they are together, whether we have an opposition in the country, because in a country, when in opposition, you are there to put the checkmate the government. But the opposition, they are silent. These news broke out more than 48 hours ago, and they are silent. So now we have the opportunity to be on platform. We're on an obligation to explain to the Liberian people, to break it down. That's why but I will not waste my time on talking about the people, about those who are part of the system, who are calling them out for it. I think we should be explaining to the people about this deal, like Professor was just saying. What he was saying about how all the process to get to this point. Because when Chuchu Jones said the same thing too. You must understand whether the country is being committed for something that tomorrow will backfire on us. We don't know. So the people of Liberia, they say, look, I know everybody happy about this machine, but let me explain to y'all the question people are asking. Those who are happy, they are ready to be happy. Those who are saying, wait a minute, why we want the machine to come in? At the same time too, they'll explain, they'll ask the question. So tomorrow we will not be caught with our pants down. That's what we are trying to do. But if we try to make it like individual, because people and we're having against them, then
Professor,
it's become about them. So that's what I'm saying. I will not. I have problem with the people, other guys who they were critical. I know, but at the same time, there'll be time for that. There'll be process. Time will come that we'll talk politics. But right now, it's about the machines that people talking about. Everybody celebrating.
But tell me, how do you discuss accountability and don't address an individual who lacks accountability or history or check or pass, right? Come on, let's be honest. But that's the same thing we're addressing here. We're discussing accountability. You want to sectionalize it. Remember, we should only focus on one component and keep our blind eyes. You understand me? That's the difference. If Tommy
but dude, what they are saying, my question is, the government of the day, they are taking the tax. The government has responded to them. Have they debunked what they're saying? No. So we are here to say, well, I mean, it's not about them. Whether they have like even in the case we're seeing in America with the man Michael, the Trump former lawyer. Even though everybody says he's a corrupt lawyer, but at the end of the day, what happened? His testimony was very positive for the prosecution team. So the issue is about for me, I'm the messenger after. Martin, what they are saying, I mean, even though they may have their own shady record, what you guys are saying, but what they are saying, the government they're yet to debunk what they're saying. They'll say, well, what it's saying is not true. We're going to give evidence. We're going to provide information about these things. I sent a message to Mama Benedict today. I mean, like, I sent a message to her today. She has not responded. I sent a message to the Minister of State, Ambassador Grisby. He has to respond. Okay, he read my message. He has not responded. Because we're asking these questions. Tell us what's happening. We want to know. We can't just accept things and run with it. No. So we have to have our own due diligence by trying to dig on this thing. So let's hear from the professor.
But that's part of due diligence. That's
so let me say something quick, because I know we gotta go to Choo. Yeah, I know we gotta go to Choo and Grace. But I see what Duke is saying. It's like Tomalin mentioned the same thing I was thinking, right? It's like the jailhouse snitch, right? It's like the guy who's testifying against Trump, even though he was charged with perjury, lying to Congress, but the New York State AG's Attorney General, they're still putting him on the witness stand as a credible witness, even though he was found guilty of lying to Congress. So do you believe the person who was found guilty of lying, or are you going to say, look, let's let's not shoot the messenger. Let's listen to the message. So I see what Duke is saying, because do you listen to the person who is now criticizing because they never did it in the past? Fine. But let me just say this one thing real quick. The reason I'm concerned about these 200 and something plus equipment coming to the country, it's the same reason why I'm concerned, because this is the same situation, or not exactly the same, but the reason why the former finance minister of Mozambique is in prison in New York City today, right?
Oh, really?
He's in prison. He was sitting in prison in South Africa for about 5 years, Michael Cheng. Michael Cheng cut a deal that the legislators in the country, in Mozambique, wasn't aware of. He cut a deal to do some tuna boat thing. It's not the same size, because his deal was like for $2 billion. It threw Mozambique in financial crisis, where everybody found out that he had cut a side deal that the legislators didn't know anything about. He tied the country into a debt arrangement that nobody knew about. So when you hear about 280 something equipment, you want to learn a little bit more about it, like who's paying for it. People are asking the right questions. Is this a grant? Is this loan? Because at the end of the day, somebody has to pay for it, right? You're doing business with China. You're doing business with Africa. Remember now, China and South Africa, they're in this cartel called the BRICS nation, right?
BRICS,
Brazil,
BRICS,
Russia, India, China, South Africa, the whole BRICS thing.
BRICS, yes.
So you still have your U.S. counterparts to deal with. You're trying to convince the U.S. that you're a good partner to the U.S., but at the same time, you're doing deals with China and looking towards China to cut deals that no one knows anything about. Here's the other thing. All of these equipment coming in, if they were to break down, do you have the technical experts on the ground to fix them? Or are we going to end up in a situation where we're paying for equipment to come in, they break down, nobody can fix them, and then they're sitting over there for years to come while we're still making debt payment on them? There's a lot of questions, unanswered questions, right? So based on how this government struggled from day one, with the president sweating and not finishing his inaugural address, they couldn't even get that part down, going all the way down to seeing how they're struggling with the whole rice issue, because the second the Minister of Commerce said, look, we're going to do price fixing, I knew that was a bad idea, because historically price fixing has never worked. They have been struggling to now entrust this government with purchasing 285 pieces of equipment. Who's going to pay for it? That's a major question, and the legislature need to start calling people in front of them, because they're going to end up putting the country on a hook for some debt that nobody would be aware of. But eventually, if somebody is signing deals, you need to know who's signing these deals. All of the librarian people are going to end up paying for it with their tax dollars and their resources. So it needs to be exposed. So I just want to mention that, this is something that is extremely critical. 280 something equipment, about 19, I think, per county. Who's going to fix them? Who's financing them? There's just a lot of unanswered questions, and it's bad when it comes to transparency and governance. It's kind of bad. So just wanted to throw that in there. So I'll swing it back to you, Chief, so you can pass it on to Grace.
Grace, go ahead.
Well, I hope I will not be interrupted this time. So I am looking forward to that. But I just wanted to say that, being on this platform is very nice. And I knew what I was trying to get into when I came here, when I was invited. I did not just come here, I was invited here. That's why I'm here. So I knew what I was going to get into. I know that most of these people talk down are women. I don't use that as an excuse because I'm a woman. I don't care. My life I live in America is great. And I just don't care. So we will have our disagreements, and we will have our own opinions, and it's fine. And the last time when even Gagwa was on here, me and Gagwa had a difference of opinion, and people were texting him to insult me and cuss me. Who cares? I just don't. You don't even know me like that, so I don't care. And nobody know better on the platform than me. I know I prepare myself in this country. That's why I live the life I live. So there is nothing anybody can tell me. I wanted to clear that out of the way. Secondly, moral rectitude is not an insult to anybody. It means straight righteousness. You too strict, and you over honest, and nobody is perfect. So you people can say that it's not an insult. People, please go and look at the definition. That's not an insult at all. So I don't sit here to insult nobody, but I will say things that are supposed to be said because I'm here to say that. Moving forward, I think that this whole thing concerning the trucks and what brought them, you know, the PR stunt that happened. To me, it was a PR stunt. That was not supposed to be out there until it happened. The press people surrounding Bwaka, they are not paying attention. We are had the same thing here, government. He went and display cake, ebony cake. If you don't have the information and everything is not in place and you have not signed documents to make sure these things come into fruition and you can't prove to the Liberian people how you get in there with these things that you bring into the country to help the country be built up as you people are saying, why expose it at this point in time? Public relations, any good public relations person that work with the president would not allow this to be out here until they have every information they're supposed to get about this. So when the public come with questions, they will have answers. So I just feel that it was a PR mistake, and they shouldn't have let that information leak out until everything was done. Putting AR picture of the equipment was just, it's not the time, especially moving from the last government we came from into this government. It's not the time for you people to be making these mistakes. And that's why people like me told the people that backup government wasn't ready. With the president 40 or 50 years, what he has in government, he was still not ready and they did not listen to me. I thank God I was able to be neutral and in the elections because I knew either side would not serve the Liberian people. Thank you.
Chuchu Jones.
Yeah, and I hope I wouldn't be interrupted as well.
Chuchu. First of all, let me clarify something. Chuchu, so you're not running again for president, right? Yes or no? Yes or no?
I did not say that. But I'll address that when you call me on your platform and give me an interview. Then I'll answer your question regarding my candidacy. But for now, let's discuss the issue.
Okay, I you endorse on Friday, but go ahead.
Okay.
So, you wanted to endorse him on Friday? You wanted to endorse him on Friday?
No, he endorsed somebody on Friday, but let him speak.
I remember that.
All right. So I will say this. Yeah, I won't make a lot of noise about it because number one, I think Professor Larry said it. We have a legislature. The purpose of a legislature is oversight over the government. Okay? Whenever the issues like this, all the legislator have to do, the abilities, the whoever, Monday morning, send a letter to the Minister of State, some requesting to your panel, have a public forum, and ask them two questions. Number one, did the government sign any, or you honor oath? Did the government sign any agreement with this company? Yes or no? Two, is there any financial, dealings in terms of loans or debt that concerning the 285 equipment? Yes or no? You pack your bag and you go home. Did that person say no?
Alice Jones, his best to do.
That's it. We were making noise. Oh, you know the thing. So you can send the three people in your House of Representatives that any one of them can request. The people don't know how to govern. These political parties don't know anything. And we're here educating them. They don't know. They're like, oh, we know. You are a legislator. That's one of your rights. You can even request the president. Yeah, Bill Clinton. They subpoenaed Bill Clinton to go before Congress to answer questions on Monica Lewinsky. Okay? So I'm here, but we don't know. We're looking for information. Whoever you voted for, I'm sure ANC got people in the House of Representatives. I'm sure CDC got people in the House of Representatives. I'm sure all the other parties who are major, who run around every day and say we can govern, let your political leader contact them and tell them, say, subpoena the people and ask them for a public hearing. So must I solve all the problem in Liberia? You have an answer. Yes or no? Did the government involve in any kind of financial dealings to get this equipment? That's all you want to know. And make it a public hearing. All right. So again, Duke, you're my brother. You're a young man. I watch your show. I admire you.
I'm not an old man, though. Come on.
My beef. No. Let me tell you. Let me just give you a small advice. Okay. I watch your show. We all make mistakes. Okay. And we all are figuring this thing out together. Some all year, they not lie on our knee. They not attack us. They not criticize us. Okay. They not even try to move off on platform we're on. That's what politics is. So you can get angry when somebody say, you know, you don't have the moral rectitude, because I can say that.
And this is coming from Alex? This is coming from Alex?
Alex, come on, brother.
This is coming from Alex? Alex, you are all people?
If you are saying, you know, you attack me, I will attack you, I will defend myself.
I'm just asking, this is coming from you?
In a game on a platform, and that's why I'm here. You can say that if you support her or your party, ANC, when instead of finding good people in Liberia, good politicians, who they went and selected to form a coalition with? Benina Yure, Joseph Boaka.
Well, man, take care of ANC.
You said on your platform, hold on now, you see how you say you're ANC man, you are there defending it. Okay? So whatever Boaka is doing today, all right, nobody in ANC can come out and say, oh, we told you better, because the only thing you'll be mad of, maybe the coalition didn't work out. But as far as your political leader was concerned, that Boaka was capable to head Liberia, Benayu was capable to head Liberia, Ellis Combs was capable to head Liberia. So that's why I think my sister Grace is talking about, when you endorse a political party, whether it's worse or too evil or better or too evil, because I want to make this last point. You don't have, there's something called abstinence. You can vote yea, nay, or you can abstain. If you vote nay, you don't have the excuse to come out and say, oh, there were only two choices there. It's like a rapist and a murderer come before you, and they say pick one, and you say, oh, I'll pick the murderer because he's less or too evil. That is complete nonsense. Nobody can make that excuse. You have 18 candidates. Politics is about your philosophy. If the person does not agree with your philosophy, or the person does not represent your ideals, whether they only two in the race or not, just like Dr. Monoba or just like Alex Jones, they can come and say, you know what, Boaka does not agree with my values, George Weah does not agree with my values, so I'm going to sit it out, because tomorrow when they do something, I'm not going to be there defending them. That's what it means by you don't have the moral rectitude. I agree that because you supported this man in the second round. You told the Liberian people say he was better. You told the Liberian people say he will govern us. He will be accountable. You'll be transparent. And now you can come out here now, and he can't brought Amakone behind you too, and he brought all the other, people from the government that you have question with. So just take it like a man, and say, I made a mistake. I had a poor judgment, and next time I will make wiser decisions.
But let me address something about time to speak. Let me address you.
I think it's my time to kind of try.
I like Lofa, please just give me a second, please.
All right,
I like the fact that you can push agendas. It's necessary sometimes to hear yourself talk. First and foremost, Alex, there's no decision that I make that I regret, and I repeat this. If we were to have a repeat between Joseph Boaka and George Weah, 1,000 times, I would select Joseph Boaka. Also, let me tell you this, Alex Jones. I would say this also, that Alex Cummings is the most competent candidate in our body of politics, and the only one I believe that can transform Liberia. Your political advice about how you think, politics should be done, the ANC should operate. Please establish your political party, go implement, go on ground, go campaign like us, take your money, go get out there. Don't sit on the computer and just talk. The difference here is Tomalin George saw me on the blistering heat in Monrovia. He saw the work that I did. 2 times, 2 trips to Liberia, including the second one, taking my entire family, using my own capital, not relying on political party. That's service, that's commitment. After 20 plus years of not being in that country.
The man just
no, 1 second, my man. Don't cut me off. Don't cut me off. Right? So I don't need about how to proceed with politics, because I think that those of us who have done it and have actually moved beyond the keyboards, right? We deserve some level of respect. But I do understand your conversation. I think that finally, Tomalin, please, look, this is an open conversation. Anybody can have, reaction to statements. I don't care. These things happen. People respond. That's life in general. You have gone, to the extent of blocking people all over who criticize you. I know instances wherein you've gone unhinged, right? Nobody, have problem with you. You've been all over the place, right?
No, please.
Let's just leave that alone.
Yeah, move that. Yeah, move on. Look, but I'm in progress. Look, again, guys, look, it's interesting. We have a nice conversation. Okay, Heron, can you put on the paper for today, tomorrow, the paper that just came up? People that paper up, please. Guys in the studio. Look.
Answer is the one in the studio.
Well, Ansu, you're gonna put that paper up. I'll send to you guys in the chat room. You'll put that paper up. Because I can tell you guys, take it from me though. In the next 72 hours, people that made some statement defending these trucks and things, maybe either two things will happen. Those who are defending it will come out to say, "Oh my God, we should have done we should have investigated before we posted or we made any comment." Some people would have said, "I told you so." But I'll say again, based on if you have an experience, you'll know that you'll be slow to speak because we have to do our own investigation. That's why I have not condemned these trucks issue. I have not praised it because we're hearing a lot of stories now. And that's why we on platform we have the opportunity to speak to Liberian people. We should better do our homework and engage the people, tell the people what's happening. But we shouldn't be defending or praising because that's why it's important. Now, you hear the question they're saying now. They're saying that they're asking whether Boyka's new McGill is this lady, Mamaka Ability. The question they're asking now. They're trying to now compare her to McGill, who was at the time Minister of State, and so forth. So now they're asking the questions being asked now. People are investigating now. Now, who knows? Two things could happen. If it's found out that this deal is questionable, having some issues behind it, they want to be a casualty for the president. One of his closest confidant in this woman. So people are investigating now. Okay, I just found out that her husband was fired by President Salif for being her administration, Deputy Minister of Education at the time, I think. So people are investigating now. People are doing all investigating to find out where the trucks are coming from. Now, the guy, they say from South Africa, the guy who's behind this truck, they say he got corruption in his past. You got to find out. And one thing you know, the U.S. government will all be involved in this one. Once they find out that it's something linked to South Africa, China, all this stuff, they're going to go behind you to find out. So if these things people could get in trouble for this. But if it turns out good for the greater good of the country, we'll welcome it. We'll celebrate. But at the same time, let us be mindful. Let's do our homework. Let us go all research, do our homework to find out whether this deal is good for the country. Because at the end of the day, we are the ones who will be the beneficiaries or the ones who to bear the consequence for it. So let us take our time. And it's a hard-burning topic. Everybody concerned. But at the same time, too, like the best thing that somebody said on the platform, somebody just told me was, well, Chidi June said, but by tomorrow's session, by tomorrow, the pro tem should be able to call. Somebody should write a letter to the pro tem. I think already said, look, the plenary, we are to invite Minister Mamaka Ability to tell us more about this deed that she announced to the country. Because at the cabinet retreat, they have even the full cabinet. The president was there. The vice president.
Prince Justin will be part of that particular meeting.
But he in the Senate.
So Tomalin,
yeah,
you get my point.
So this is where I come in to reiterate. Okay, I think we spoke about this, and I again I will say this, right. The point here is what you just highlighted. Our purpose of being on this platform is to enlighten the Liberian people, bring forth the information that they need to have. And that's the reason why when we notice there are key portion of this entire process that should not just be ignored, we include it in the conversation so that Liberians are informed. The information that we're providing per the equipment is just as good as the messengers. We cannot divide them, but we can also tell our people it is important that we hold our lawmakers accountable. And that's the reason why I'm listening to Representative Musa Hassan Benedict today on another platform. And he spoke about his statement that he published on Facebook. I tried calling in multiple times to really question his decision. Representative Benedict, you're not a model. You're a representative. You represent the people. You should not simply make statements because you want to make statements and buy sentiment. Your statements should be supported based on facts. So when you come up and make statements such as all the decisions that was made by the government to purchase this equipment are supported, and then come back to justify that statement, it speaks volume. Because as a representative, you would have done your research, you would have analyzed the entire situation prior to you making a public statement. In this case, Representative Musa Hassan Bedadi did not do due diligence. He spoke up and then came back in attempt to defend or to justify his statement. And this is why we are where we are again when we speak of people's responsibilities. They are not here to showcase. They are not here to model for us. They are here to do the job. Your action speaks louder than your words. We appreciate when you provide information to the public, but let it be authentic information that you can defend to its core. Unfortunately, this is exactly what you're talking about when Professor Larry said, let people go and make the case in front of our lawbreakers, as I referenced them, because until they can prove themselves to be lawmakers, I don't regard them as lawmakers. They should prove themselves to be lawbreakers, or lawmakers. I stop at that point.
But why you want credit Chuchu Jun for saying that? Chuchu Jun who said that they might go before the lawmakers? You want credit?
Oh, was it? Okay. Well, it was. I misspoke. Okay.
Grace come here. Grace come.
Okay. Chuchu said it. Okay.
Yeah, man, credit by it.
No, but I didn't know. I misspoke. Okay. A lot of people spoke before. Okay. Alex Chuchu Jones said it. What does that?
Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome.
I think you kind of Lofa, you kind of wrong Honorable Ability on this one. What I think is that Honorable Ability was just making a statement personally. So if you go back to his post and you read it again, he was trying to say that this is a good thing for the country. But was he substantiating what was happening was actually that everything was put out there and they had documentation and were able to present it to the Liberian people? No. He was just saying that if this is the case, this is good for the country, and he don't think people should talk down at it. So it was some personality. I don't think you should go after him when he be a representative so he doesn't have right to just make a Facebook. That's Facebook. You can make
No, I didn't say
that. Look, I can never let people talk to the end. It's just like, come on now. Yeah, but I go back to his post and I will give you my next 2 minutes for you to read his post so you see where he was coming from. Now, I'm not trying to defend it. I think most of the representatives, senators should be slow to speak, except they're giving us information like Amara Conan, bringing everything up and informing us. And I also think that what you said with Amara Conan, about him coming on and being that he has all these other allegations behind him. But when we take away from the information and just push on his allegation, it takes away from the public knowing exactly what is going on. And that's what we're trying to share with you guys as panelists. That okay, he did all these things, the allegations are behind him, it's alleged. Now there will be a place and time for that. But right now, the information he's giving us, you can still bring in the allegations against him. You can put it in there, but if you press solely and wholly on the allegations against him, it takes away from the information he's trying to get in public. And then we skip a beat there, and you know our people sometimes we don't be attentive on information. Then we forget what actually the information that was supposed to be given out there. We start to think about the allegations that are on him. And right now, he's the only person, he's one of the only persons in the house that already giving all information on this government, so we need him to be there to give us that information. And also Martin Cody. So that's why I just say that we're not saying you shouldn't bring all his stuff, but we just say to you that when you bring all his stuff, make sure you focus, get a due diligence to the information you're trying to get it public, so we can focus on that to make sure the government is in line, and then you can talk about the other things that are behind him. I will say again that public relations is very important in this day and age. We are in the internet age, And this is the 21st century. Everything is like, you have to be very, very careful how you put things out there and how you speak or what you share. And we see a lot of people go down on social media because of things that they share, and it's not happening to our government. I just think that I'm hoping in my mind, because when like person see, it means that we also see that. But I'm hoping in my mind that this government will come up with something great as far as documentation, presentation for the Liberian public on those equipments that they say they have lobbied for to bring to Liberia. I just think that they shouldn't have, the people around Joseph Baga, when it comes to his press, shouldn't have put that information out there. The Minister of State with our portfolio shouldn't have done that. It was not time for it to be put out there. So even with all this talk behind it, even if they come up with everything, clear paper, everything clean and everything, people will still be jabbing at it because of the way they came out. So, my advice to the people that surround the president closer that work with him, you'll have to really take time on how you present the development that you want to get to the Liberian people, You want to make sure you have everything lined up to present to them in at least 72 hours before you can come up with these things. Or 72 hours in the PR world is really too long. At least 24 to 48 hours that you can come up with information, everything prepared to present to the people before you start sharing pictures and all of those things. Like that, it take away from the government, take away from what the president wants to really accomplish. And at this point in time, I really didn't feel that Joseph Boakai government are going to go forward, in a positive light. But at this point in time, actually, because I'm a Liberian, and my love for Liberia is number one. I don't worship individuals, so I feel sorry for President Boakai at this point, because I just feel that until he can get a solid team around him, it will be hard for him to really carry on his agenda.
I just got a news one. Somebody from GF just sent me this. The JF Kennedy Hospital runs out of medical supplies to treat accident patients. The hospital is overwhelmed and appeals to the public for assistance. The administrator said there is a need for emergency medical supplies such as IV fluids, dressing materials, and drugs. A car exploded along the Kakata-Morovia Highway, leaving several persons reportedly dead and 6 in critical condition currently at JFK. So JFK is asking for help. If anybody knows who can help them with IV fluids, dressing materials, and drugs, please make your way to JFK. They really need his assistance because there was an accident on the Kakata-Morovia Highway, leaving several persons reportedly dead, and 6 are in critical condition at JFK. That's one of the things, again, we say again, our country needs all the help we can get to ensure that this is our country leading hospital. I remember many people don't know, but back in the days, JFK was a referral hospital in the sub-region. Who used to fly from our neighboring countries like Ghana, Guinea, Cote d'Ivoire, and places to come to JFK for treatment, and when they were built. So today, JFK is now you see people that are begging for dressing supplies and IV fluids, and I hope those in who has capacity to help can help this hospital. And I will tell people that, especially us who go to Liberia all the time, sometimes you never know what can happen, and you end up in a hospital. So we all got to support it. That's why it's important that we do our best to support and make sure that the money directed for these places are given to them. But again, let me come back to the topic. So make progress. Welcome to Vina. Again, the opposition, they are silent, but I'm hearing now that in the coming days, the main opposition parties will be coming out with their own statement on this issue. They will do that. They are doing the homework right now. Looking forward to hear from the ANC too, the Liberty Party. One year, all of these parties, where the position on all of these things? Because it's important that what's unfolding in the country, the issue about the rights, the issue about these machines that are coming in the country, they need to speak out, because else it can affect our country one way or the other. Right now, Liberia is trying to get the MCC compact. And some money that have been earmarked for the country, but all of these shady things are becoming shady, and yet the younger people who are withholding that money to see what's happening. That's why it's important that people speak. One thing I told somebody from the government today, I said, look, you may not like some people, but if I were in government, I would not shy from going on platforms that that maybe they're critical of the government or critical of me as an official of government. You want to go there that's the platform you should go on and engage these people. Talk to the people, like bring people through these panelists. Let them ask you the questions that people feel that you cannot answer, so that you can address it.
Let me ask you a question. Ask you a question. You know that's a form of consultation, right? You should get paid for that. You literally provided them consultation. They should pay you for telling them what they're supposed to do.
Man, I love Labroba. Anybody who love Labroba.
But the man at CDC, man, so that he giving them advice.
Oh, you get Tomalin CDC, man. I didn't know that. Thank you.
That's what he is.
Thank you, Alex. I didn't know that. Thank you.
I'm a
gotta be truth for disclosure.
No, I thought he was an independent. That like you.
Look, yeah, Tavina, come on. Give your 2 minutes, yeah.
Happy Monday. Glad to be on to listen and to share some thoughts on current discussion. I understand you guys are talking about the yellow machine, which is has been trending for a week. I think I share similar words that Alex have shared to a certain extent. I know he said to call them and ask their yes and no question. I think go beyond that, yes and no. For me, I don't like the yes and no. Tell me more. We need to ask, like we always say, ask the 5 whys. Some people brought about the issue of corruption. I think it's more than the issue of the party that gave the equipment, the issue of corruption. It's not. Yes, we should talk about the character of whoever allegedly gave their donation, but we should look into, for me, I'm more concerned about what's in between. What are the circumstances under which these machines were given? We know our country, nothing is given for free. There's always that catch under it. So what's the condition under which they were giving these things? Is it, we gave you this in exchange for us to sign these billions of dollars of contracts? So I'm curious to see what's going to play out this week. And I agree with what Alex said. Call these lawmakers or that are taking to social media and writing plenty. That's not their place. Everybody won't grandstand. Everybody won't be the first to write on Facebook, so to prove a point to us that you're doing something. There's something that you can do is calling the parties involved to the Senate or whatever you guys want to call it and ask them the hard questions. Why do we have this equipment? What are the conditions under this? Who authorized it? And, like Professor Larry said, the repair mechanism you have in place was, if there's a breakdown or there's spare part issue, we're looking at longevity. Let's look at the issue of gender. Somebody, gave them equipment way back when Piso Tower was there, some DNA machine. It sat there and dusted for years because they were not trained on how to use it. They never had, a repair mechanism in place. So all those things need to be addressed. So I'm hoping that instead of the lawmakers, including Amara, taking to social media and acting like he's on president, they need to go back to where they belong, in the Senate, and ask the hard questions. So that's what I have to say on that.
Guys, quickly, let me ask a question, man. First of all, I want to ask a question, though. I saw the president in something. What was that? I don't know. Just explain to me.
What's that?
That's a golf cart at the airport. A golf cart at the airport. You can't walk.
Man, or older people.
You can't walk, or you are elderly.
Man, how many people walk through the?
But why they put?
They're not going to put a young person in that.
But why they put it?
Alex, you want me to confess to you?
Because he's not able to walk.
Alex, I got on one of those things at one of those major airports one time.
No, but why they post? Why they posting the picture? Why they posting not gonna put you?
How people will run with anything. They'll run with anything. Tomalin. Let me tell you something. I've gotten that card before. Just a few weeks ago, when I was coming for Dominican Republic. My phone was hurting. I've gotten accident before, and sometimes my foot get tired, and I was tired. And I asked for the equipment to put me on there, and the mail material escort me through. I sat
and that Georgia airport.
Use that. Come on.
No. But the truth though, it have to be for you to get on that. It have to be health related. Is that correct?
No. But
age.
Age.
Why health condition? Then you can be disabled, push it for my health, but I'm not to carry. But I have past accident where I steady too much. Sometimes it can be a problem for me and going through security.
My point is,
so I was on the line for almost 2 hours or a little over 2 hours. So I had to talk to the security, and they brought a card, and I got in there.
Yeah, my point is, I know what they posted up for. I mean, who are there to take that picture? No matter who are in that place to take that picture to bring on to put on. What are they doing it for? I don't think it's necessary.
I know. Tommy, let me ask you a question.
Anyway,
you might probably know this because we covered it. I think we covered it on the show earlier this year, probably in January or February. You remember when the news broke of the was it $1 billion deal on the railroad thing, the concession thing, that the government has signed a letter of intent?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Okay. That was in, I mean, the both houses were aware of that, right? When the government signed the letter of intent, correct? Meaning our senators knew about, the language in that particular document, right? They would have reviewed that, correct? Okay. Yes, why I brought that discussion up. And if our senators, including Amara Conan.
I'm sorry, please. Chuchu have not spoken though. Let get his time. Yeah.
No, I haven't spoken.
Oh, I thought that Chuchu time.
I mean, that would be you too.
I haven't spoken. Yeah.
If he wants to go first, no big deal.
Okay, but after you,
so look for something there. I'm asking because I thought you would know that. The reason why I'm asking this is for this reason. Did our lawmakers review the context of the letter of intent? Did they read the manuscripts or the transcript of that particular deal? Because, the reason why it's important here is why we're here today. And some of the reason why I said that, right? I don't buy messengers who are pushing message of reform. If we are writing posts and saying that those yellow machines are tied to the same company that was part of that particular deal, and as lawmakers, we approve the letter of intent, come on, man. How does that separate you from the problem?
No, but
if you approve a letter of intent, if you were part of that particular initial arrangement with the same company now that you're accusing of corrupt practices, how does that separate you from what you're criticizing?
But the question is,
don't you think there's something wrong with that?
But was the letter shared with the lawmakers?
Well, that's what I'm asking. It had to.
So because I don't think it was shared with the lawmakers though.
They have to be part of that process. I think so. They did. And I think the senator wrote a post in support of that particular arrangement with HPX as well.
So, but you know something. To be fair, let us get a document so we have a show on that discussion.
It's not, but truthfully speaking, there's a reason why I brought that up. Because now the argument is that Guma, a company actually that I highlighted in the initial when that news broke, and I had a lot of questions about that particular company, right? Is now being taken to tax as a corrupt entity that possibly assisted with the so-called yellow machine. Granted, but the problem here is though, if that letter of intent that was submitted, if the details of the initial details of that particular contract, right, were discussed, and there were senators and lawmakers who were in the know of that particular arrangement, aren't they part of the problem, including the senator?
Well, a letter of intent is not a contract, though.
No, I know what letter of intent is. It doesn't matter. The idea is the language in there, right, that tells you, it's not official contract. It tells you what both sides are looking at. It's not final. I agree. However, those languages in an LOI should give you indication, especially with the participants. The red flag here is the participants. It will disclose the participant of that particular arrangement. If the participants or those that were part of that arrangement were made visible in that particular LOI, that particular letter of intent, and today we are criticizing that, and those same companies or those individuals involved in the arrangement, what does that make us?
But like I said, I think let us research and bring it. I know Guma has an agreement with
I've
HPS.
researched.
Yeah, but listen now, Guma has an agreement with HPS, not the government of Liberia. That I know for a fact. So,
but Guma is not being taken to task. They're saying people who are pointing out the flaws for that arrangement are saying Goma is the one that gave the government the 285 yellow machines. They were part of that particular $1 billion concession agreement that everybody celebrated at the beginning of this year. And the sign of letter of intent, there were language in that document. There were clarity in that particular manuscript, that document that showed the parties involved. And if even the context or the detail of that arrangement was not made available, and there were lawmakers who heard that particular name and said nothing about it at the onset, to me, that's a problem.
Okay, listen, what we'll do, I will urge everybody here to do a homework. Let us check behind this deal and come back on Wednesday because it will have things, because everybody checking right now, doing on this deal, because again, people having issues with this whole truck issue. And you guys who in the finance area, you guys know how all of these things are arranged, how people make commitment to the companies or institutions and government. You guys should be able to come back on Wednesday and have something to show us. To say, look, we are doing our due diligence. Then, and from what we see, just how I came when how they call it, the Iboma and the what company name? Iboma and what?
Iboma.
Yeah, the Iboma and something. Yeah, everybody. So everybody. The president, we had good intention, but people he wanted to bring money to divide the country. But then people say, oh no, but again. When I check it, the group that were coming to meet to bring the money, they found the group had issues, so people that group was trash. Now,
it was bad.
Okay, yeah, you say he was shady. Now we are saying now that people are saying, yeah, that is true that want the country to develop, want the roads to be fixed, want to see our farmers then bringing their goods to market. President Burger bringing 285 machines, every moving machine, every country will get 19. Yeah, man, that's more than my country.
How did they determine how many counties to get what? Yeah. I'm curious to know that too. Anybody?
Because some countries are very small. No idea. So how all the thing will happen? Question, but
how they came out with the allocation?
Alice Jones, let's hear from you, Alice Jones.
Alice, what you know about this?
Hold up.
Alice was part of that deal. I think first of all, Alice enlightened us.
All right. First of all, Telco, it's a pleasure and an honor to have you to sit on a show with you.
Oh Lord!
And for the Liberian people, who don't know Tevina Cole, she's been a fighter for women's rights in Liberia. She's been contributing at every form years ago. So it's such an honor to share a platform with you today. And you fought the CDC, you fought the Ellie, you fought everybody. And so sometimes people need to understand these things. So thank you for coming. I'm such honored to see you. You're looking beautiful and great. So please, thank you. All right, let me go to the JFK Tomalin. Tomalin, you're doing a quite good job because I know that we don't have no newspapers in Liberia anymore. We don't have no media in Liberia anymore. Everybody are their bootlegger, and whatever the government says, and they place these calls because that's all journalists can do. You can place a call and put it on the record. The person doesn't respond. You know, you can put on the record and say, "Hey, I contacted this to ask a question and didn't respond." But I want to go back to JFK because you just said that JFK needs medical equipment. And few days on the show, a few days ago on the show, I made mention of our legislature receiving around $25 million, 73 people, which comes to around $240,000 per person. On top of that, they get money for grants, money for office expense. Do you all know how much JFK has for medication, Liberian people? Some $300,000. I'm looking at the budget right now. Okay, where we give legislator $250,000, one person over the year, but then we give the whole entire hospital. Okay, whether they can buy drugs. Then we sit here, then we say, oh, let's call on the Liberian people to send drugs for our people. But the same people who saying that are the same one who here sitting the two there, oh yeah, we support the Joseph Boga government. Where is your priority? 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 Where is your priority What country do you know would take almost 40% of the national budget and give it to MP individuals? Some of them who have already been corrupt, we know that. And you sit here and say, I'd rather support this government than give somebody else who is not part of that mess a chance. So why should I give JFK money when you're taking money? Then the Senate got $10 million. They buy that by 30 people, that $330,000 each. The whole entire JFK for the whole year get less than $400,000 for drugs. You know how much one drug costs? What diabetes drugs or band-aids or sutures or things like that. Then you support this kind of government. And it was just like that under the CDC government. The budget shows a year. They were getting 250,000, 300,000, 400,000. I say for compensation, in fact, the whole JFK got like $5 million. My people, isn't this a problem? How can we, in good conscience, sit here and support anybody who would take millions of dollars and give it to people who can get in a plane when they're sick and go to Ghana and Saudi Arabia and America? And your mom, your pa, your friends, your people in Liberia can't even get, $10 medication. And you say, support this person. Why should I help? I will help a government if they were serious. I will give my last. But is this a government that's serious? Is how we spend our money? You get the Civil Service Administration budget alone at $14 million. There's one office that's not to pay all of the government officials. And we need to look into that because that way I think he corruption tied to. Because I think that his nephew or somebody. I'm looking into that. But you take the JFK, the major hospital, 2 million people live in Liberia, perhaps, in Monrovia. So when I hear you guys talking about supporting this government, I question your dignity. I question really your humanity. These people are wicked. They are cruel. And the only reason why they get away with it is because we don't speak about it. We want to be politically correct. We want to come here and say, we just speak the thing. But they are nothing more than, like I said, they're inhumane because people right now are dying before I get finished talking, for lack of drug at just JFK for other medical center. And a senator today or tomorrow will get in an airplane, including the Joseph Walker, and fly to check a blood pressure. How can we live for ourselves? That's the issue, Duke. The issue, I got no fight with you. That's the issue, Lofa. I got no fight with you. You're not running the government. You're not getting paid. But you will sit here, you can't on me when I'm talking about these things. So, lastly, I would say, not only should they bring the Ministry of State concerning the equipment, but they should also bring the Minister of Agriculture. We're talking about rice in the country. Why the Minister of Agriculture hasn't been summoned to ask questions? Why the Minister of Commerce have not been summoned? That's not my job to go and do research. The people didn't even got website. Most of the ministry, they didn't even got website. Where do I even start from? They say they get budget. They say they get budget for technology, but they don't even have $250 website. I can't waste my time and say I'm going to research them. So let the lawmakers, the least they can do is their job. Take the $250,000 every year, take the $300,000 every year, take the $10 million every year, but they call the people that who are responsible before the House, and they're asking the question we're talking about, and at least we can deal with that. Thank you.
Wow. Alex Jones, people are texting you, people are writing. You bringing a lot of sense to the discourse today, though. That is sense. Alex Jones is the man of this show today, though. Everybody praising this guy. He bringing a lot of sense here tonight to the discourse. But he's saying the facts, though, about Alex. On a serious note, look, you can get mad with the government of the day, whatever the case. But look, you in Liberia, we have relatives and friends there. But like I know, as I'm about to go to Liberia, I know I will see some of my friends, some classmates, some of my childhood people. I will see them, and I will not. You can't shy away from it. And because of the country, leaders of the past have brought the country to where it is today. People will continue to beg. So should I, like the Bible says, should I continue to live in sin that grace may abound? God forbid. So should I see, because the people are stealing from Liberia, I say, okay, I'll keep on stealing, so I should ignore the people? No. We have played our part. That's why we come on.
Do.
Look, right now, as we're on the platform, you are on two major radio stations in Liberia, Truth FM, Hot FM. They are carrying you live. People are carrying you live. They are hearing you here, there, yonder, and people want to hear what people are saying. What you're saying, people are saying yes, but again, we are on an obligation to educate our people, because when it comes to 2029 again, the very people that will forget. They will say, "Oh, the people there." They will not think all you said. Oh, they will say, "Oh, the people will come and say, look, I bring you hand pump, I bring you this and that, to go and put the people in office." So some of the time, we have our own problem, because we know these things happening. We'll see people getting a plane and going out of the country. The next thing you say, "Oh, John Brown, the official government, just died in Ghana, in India, in South Africa," because it costs money. But the question will be that right now, the problem I got with the lawmakers, then, none of them have answered this question. And as the company will ask them, the $100,000 they're giving them in the budget. I mean, they put in the budget for lawmakers. That's not the question about. Why are they putting money for these people? And most of them defending it. That the money is necessary for them for development in the area. That's not a job. The money should be given to a specific. That's why it's important that they bring back the Ministry of Rural Development. It's important because that ministry is responsible for all the things we see happening today. But I have Bogasi will bring that ministry back. Hope they bring it back. Ministry of Rural Development. That was their job. Make sure that all the rural areas are developed. But again, putting money in the budget of that amount for lawmakers to have access over it, I think is wrong. So that's why we should speak out on these things. It's important because the national budget now, the budget, you've seen it.
Right in front of me. And the exact amount, Tomalin, because I want to say the exact amount for drug and medication for JFK is $309,546 for this year. Next year they reduce it to $217,000. The following year, 2025, 2026, they reduce it to $128,000. So they're reducing the amount for drug. It's right on the budget in black and white.
So tell me,
I'm not making it up.
For God's sake, what can that amount of money do for drugs for people of 5 million people? What can that money do in our largest hospital in the country? So these are alarming issues. These are alarming, but they get from grace.
Yeah. Well, before I talk on the medical gears, I just wanted to speak on quickly that my sympathy for Joseph Boakai is my sympathy for fellow Liberians. The reason why I say that, most of you people, when it comes to political and this is a party and stuff like that, that's how you see stuff. I see it differently. I put Liberia first. I think when I first went to the Red Out my t-shirt for that whatsoever march we went to in DC. But I just don't understand how we saw that we are surrounding himself with all these people who could not help him succeed. Because the president is the point, but there are a lot of people around the president that have to help him make certain decisions. So after we saw we had made that mistake, and for me, his 6 year was a failure. I don't understand how our president right now, who had all these years of governance, will come back and start to put learners around him. High school graduate, put them in high position because they are his children's friends, and some of them the family members, and then some of them they are partisans, and he put these same people around him, and so it makes me. That's my sorrow. My sorrow is for Liberia, but then I'm sorry for him because he sits in that position and he did not even have the mindset to change that. Knowing that he saw that over and over again, he worked with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. He saw what she did when it came to governance, how she learned people around her to execute. Although some things went wrong, but that government was a brilliant government setup for the 12 years that they were in. She brought people to do the job. So that's my sorrow. But when it comes to the medical equipment, the gears and stuff that they are now requesting for and asking the Liberian people, especially that request is going to the point in the diaspora, but we internet citizens do, but they always ask for these things. And my thing when Tomalin said that why are they No, Chuchu said, why are they even asking us? I want to even side with him because the budget you just gave there, they are reducing the budget by the year because if you don't know, United Nations gave a lot of medical equipment and gears and medication to Liberia, a lot. There is no way that Liberians or the government right now should be even requesting for medication or medical gears and equipment for JFK. But the same people in the government, when it comes to the health side of the government, they take these same medications and these gears and equipment, use it for the clinics. How you can have a health minister, then she got clinic on the other side. So they use these things for the clinics, and then they sell the same medication that the United Nations are giving for free to bring people to help them. They sell on the market for the people to buy. So that's why they lock all those things. And the government cannot hold them accountable for that because the government is doing it. So that's where the whole misstep is happening. Even United Nations just doing an investigation. I don't know whether you saw that on Liberia for stealing drugs. For the government people stealing drugs. It was I think the investigation is still going on. That charity organization gave a lot of drugs and gears and equipment, and they sent it to Liberia, and the people stole it and started sending it to the poor people on the market to buy from them. They were even selling it out of the country. So sometimes, I know that, we can, our people dead, we are family members, and Liberians are close in that country. That when the country is freaking corrupt because my sister do something and I can't talk, but when your sister do something and I so talk, so all that won't going on. We still have to hold these people accountable, and it goes back to the voters. Don't sell your vote because this is what it will come to. Your people will be lying in the hospital and don't have medications because you sold your vote. You sold your vote to the people and you wanted them to lead you. And these are the people that are leading you. They don't give a hang about you. So it boils down to that. Are we opening our eyes? 2029 is coming in. This generation, Tomalin said it, and Alice re-emphasized on the one day. This generation of us that our youth was stolen is the last generation that will fight for Liberia. And the fight ends in 2029. 2029 hit. If you don't make wise decisions to redeem yourselves, our children that are born here and the ones that even born in Liberia do not give a hint. I talked to a little boy in Liberia, around 20, young boy, around 27, and he said, look, I don't give a hint about what's going on. I just need to survive. I got to kill somebody to do what we do. So they don't care. The reason why we are here because we saw the good and we experienced the bad. So we have the strength to come in and fight and, conscientize our people, redirect and continue to tell them, let's do this, we can change this. But if y'all don't open your eyes and y'all don't try to do the right thing, voting in legislature, senator, this is not only for president, voting in legislature, senators, and all the places that you can vote for people to represent you. That will be it will get worse. Y'all always pressing that like bro also said that stand up. When Moniba were in the race and the other young people, Edward Appleton, they also said that stand up. Senegal took it away from you. Then you go Senegal and make the get young president. Yeah, you see, don't children then fought or fight the joint or joint force to fight together and say, you know what? We suffer too much. We have to take this over. It's nothing against our old people. Just a brother riding a golf cart right now to the airport. It's nothing against the papa. You need to retire. Yeah, and go play with his grandchildren and have some fun. Live the best of his life. Play some karting. Yeah, his wife sitting on the last time they were in their pajama. They sit on the whole hand. They have, we have to change our direction. 360 degree. This is the generation from now to 2029. For me, I already said that after 2029, it depends on how people to do the voting. If they choose to do the voting, if they choose to vote the wrong way, am I going to come here on platform and gender-based violence work that I've done? Am I going to do those things again? I think I will resign from that because 2029, 6 years from now, 6 years will be added to my age. I don't want to go down with heart attack. I want to live the best life, and people are not going to take that away from me.
I have a statement representing Musa Bereje, right? He said it has been an eventful 24 hours for me as regards to positions I take on national issues, especially the yellow machines or in caps story. I hope the government will not come out to give Liberians the true nature of this deal. Okay. Delay will not serve you well. Tell the people what it is. It's long past due. I agree with honorability. The same thing, I mean, the same thing you're saying, Chuchu Jones, everybody's saying it now. People are on the news is getting is getting serious now.
Well, no, Chuchu agree.
It's important that the government break the silence. That either 1 year from the president, the minister of information, they need to talk about this thing. People are, they cannot let this thing go on like this. Because by Wednesday, I can tell you, by tomorrow, by Tuesday, Wednesday, it will get different and people will go crazy with it. So the government needs to speak. I just saw a picture too. I'll put it in our chat room where the MPA MD praising the company. In fact, he praising this company. He's saying that the MD of MPA now. Yes, what happened now? He's saying, thank God, thank you, President JMB Senior, and thank you, Chairman Robert Gumedi of Guma, for trusting our dynamic president, JMB Senior, with more than 52 million worth of earth-moving equipment. JMB Eka, Bar Road Doctor, is the only man who can secure a loan like this with no money down. The 2024 budget gave the ministry.
You said that loan.
Budget.
I don't want to sit on here. I don't want to.
Let me just finish my thought.
Is that an official statement from the NBA guy or just something where we can verify that because the social media accounts?
No, I mean, but
accounts can be
what we're reading though.
Yeah, defend.
We can't.
Let him finish.
Let Tomalin land.
The 2024 budget gives the Ministry of State an allotment to finance the equipment. 25% of our roads fund will also help pay for these equipment. There's no time for politics when it comes to developing Liberia. The president understands the issues of open government and before the equipment arrive. Look, this is why it's important. This is why it's important. This is why Alex is saying that they should call these people to the house and let them answer these questions and the people are asking.
Tomalin, I see the desire to highlight this whole idea of this Alex Joseph, but can you validate that statement that was written? It came from this particular individual's account. You cannot authenticate that.
We have to be.
No, but it's up to you, but ain't no happy. Go and clarify. Call the
No.
I stand by it.
Tomalin, you're standing by what you're reading because it is provided to you, but we have no way to validate the information that you're reading. That it came specifically. Tomalin, let me land.
You go and to count on me. You bring the one.
You just went again. You see,
I for what I say.
And I'm also countering what you're saying, that there is no way to validate this statement.
I agree, but
you're reading.
Why I read it, I'm responsible for what I say. Okay,
you are responsible for what you're saying.
What I'm saying, yes.
In this regard, as we profess to be a professional platform, we should also support our claim.
Yeah, but I'm saying, I'm saying that TCA is saying it. I'm saying it. Somebody just saying it. I'm saying it.
So what's the issue with that?
Don't try to test them in public.
Let's not do this.
Say what you gotta say.
So there's no issue here.
There is an issue.
You see how you stare? Okay. Let me ask a question. Let me ask a question.
This is a platform.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question. Can you validate? Let me ask you a question.
What I say, I told you what I say. So
let me ask you a question. Can you validate the statement?
So Alex, let me land. You will ask your question if you desire. What I'm saying here, that statement out there, okay, it could be written by anybody. There are multiple accounts of Madam Ellen Sully Johnson.
Go find her and bring the real one. That's what I said. What I said.
No. What we are saying here is why we want to hold people accountable.
What I say.
You're not letting me land though.
We are at you. You want to let us talk.
You
keep on though.
Yeah,
I don't think the issue should be between like you go after your fellow panelists. No, issue should speak to what you think. I'm not saying
no, it's not. I'm not going after you, Tomalin. I'm not going after you.
Yeah,
I'm not coming after you. What I'm saying here is you told us to be substantive in our deliberation.
Yes, we spoke I read what I'm reading. So you read, come where your own. But finish. That'd be frank. I'm not saying I teach your position. Finish.
So in other words,
I want to comment. Go ahead, Lofa.
So in other words, I'm supposed to say my own. But let me be honest here, right?
Yeah.
That statement, I agree with you. Say your own and leave me alone. I agree.
Yeah.
And
let me defending the D.
I don't think the issue of this is where, and you of all people, Tomalin, know that I don't defend the government on anything. I will not defend the government.
Well, I know about you, Lofa. When you're against somebody, the Amara will say now what Amara said right to you. They don't say right to you.
All right. Anything I agree with it now. All right. Anything I agree. Go ahead. Tell me. Go ahead.
So two concerns. I mean, a couple of concerns on the two statements that were read. The one from my big brother, my family, Musa. I think the second statement should have been the first statement in the first place. What he put out. He should have put that out first if he wanted to say we need to find out more about these things. But I think he was very reactive when he put the first statement. And so putting this one is just like damage control.
Of course, a politician, what you expect?
Yeah, what about people right now? I gotta just sign the Yeah, so that's my opinion on that. He should have, the second statement should have been his first statement. So that's it for that. The second, I'm hearing too many things when it comes to the yelling machine. They get a cause for more questions, and that's what we need to keep the fire burning on these people, the parties involved, so they need to speak. We're hearing one is a loan. We're hearing there were budget allocation for that, and so they use it. We're hearing, it was a donation. What is what? What is the true story here? And we're not only hearing it for just anybody, we're hearing for people within the government. So it's important that they need to stop all these Facebook posting and get into the house, call the parties involved, and ask these questions. Now, on the JFK issue, Tomalin, there are not blames to go around. For me, I'm more of a resolution person. Let's resolve the issue, whether a quick fix or a long-term fix. So my suggestion to your platform, even though I'm just here temporarily, if you can find a way, connect with the JFK people, bring them on, let them talk about the issue, and we can raise some sort of fund, raise some funds for them. It will save a life until the next budget allocation, until the donation can come in. Let's save a life. That's my take on JFK.
So can I talk now?
Please, sir.
Went off.
Please, sir. I'm done. Go ahead.
Okay. So I'll go back to what I stated earlier. All right. I held Musa Hassan Peabody accountable for his statement. And obviously, he's coming back now to retract his statement based on the fact that he validated the statement made on his page. He said, yes, okay, I made the statement. What my point here is, we are not hiring models. We are not looking for people. This is not who speak first is correct. Musa Hassan Peabody and other people have made this entire process to be, let me be the first to speak against or for this so I can appear as the guy who's really working hard. That is not what we want. If you will be the last person to speak about specific issues, let your point be taken and let it be what you stand for. That was my point. And you are running around that he came and apologized about the statement he made. And he's even writing more about what he's stating. Look, we must be serious about what we want for Liberia. We cannot consistently allow ourselves to just fluctuate because it is within our domain. This person here is on my team. So let me defend this person, or this person is now siding with my political candidate. So their statement should be defended and supported beyond all reasonable doubt. That is not what we want for Liberia. We want a society, a much more vibrant society. We want a governing system that benefits the people, the downtrodden. And we will never get that if we consistently buy into the idea of my side, your side, their side, or how do I individually benefit. We will never get there. And this is why some of us are saying, regardless of the fight, I am knowledgeable of the fact that the platform that I sit on, the radio that we are broadcasting on, okay, it's on and supported by Honorable Musa Hassan Benedict. But because of that reason, I should sit here and say, let me not hold him accountable for statements made. Then I reserve no rights to publicly state or speak against anybody in the public space. If I'm simply doing it to seek favor, then there should be no reason why I should hold the Abraham Dawes DeLon, Amara Kane and other people accountable for their participation or contribution to anything. Let us be sincere in our fight for justice, accountability, and transparency in Liberia. And that's the only reason why I said this is not a modeling contest. It's not who speaks first. I learned at that point. And anybody else can go on until Tomalin George comes on.
So, great points. It's kind of interesting the way the approach does use to discuss this topic. 1 minute we should sectionalize it and only be able to speak about certain aspect of it because it suits a certain message, and we cannot be wholesome in discussing this. Here we are talking about the lack of credibility that the government, the lack of accountability that the government is shown by not disclosing where it got funding from to purchase those machines, right? But at the same token, we're afraid to discuss characters or individuals who are championing this cause of accountability with sketchy, history. I find it really mind-boggling, right? So, Lofa is right. Regardless of what we do, and I think it happened a few minutes ago when I was talking about the issue of the previous $1 billion arrangement with the letter of intent that was actually, supported, and there was no criticism from individuals who are championing accountability now. But suddenly, at this latter stage, the same company that was part of that particular arrangement, the name is being thrown now in this discussion by Yellow Machine, and then we have champions of accountability. So the lack of consistency really it baffles me, right? And we can't discuss this issue without looking at the details of it and saying that we want to put it off. But at the same token here, let's be honest here. When we're talking about accountability, we have to be truthful. We have to look at it from all perspectives. This has nothing to do with election win. I could care less. I don't intend to work in government. I don't support political parties because I want something out of there. I do it because I'm passionate about this and I really enjoy doing it. At the end of the day, I fold my bags and I leave and I go to where I need to go. But there's a pattern here. And even I think Toby wrote something in the comments before coming on. Amran needs to sit down, and I stand by that. I find serious problem with people who wants to champion causes when they've been the worst violators of some of the same thing they're criticizing. And I've exerted expertise and experience in this scenario. I've talked about the AML, familiarity with it, and why this guy cannot be anybody to discuss it. Yes, why? This man was actually the Minister of Finance who used public funds to coerce, to stop journalists from talking about corruption, and in some instances use those money to put them on payroll because he was actually involved in acts of corruption. That was a violation of AML. Why was it not important at that time? The same Amara, at the beginning of this year, when that particular news broke of a possible $1 billion or $1 billion deal in terms of HPX and the Goma, what did Amara say? Did he frown on the arrangement and all of the nonsense and the companies, the individuals involved in arranging it? There was no public outburst, emotional outburst about that deal. But suddenly today, The questions about the deal are based upon the same people who signed the initial, concession. Letter of intent. Now they're questioning because they say, "Oh, the tractors come from these people who have questionable character." Well, they didn't have questionable characters when we went bragging about the $1 billion deal with HPX. Where's the consistency? So I think people only push these things when they find political value in it. They only push it when they have political ambitions, right? Which is nothing wrong with having political ambition, but there's nothing wrong with us also calling out these things and the saying as it is. Finally, let me say this, Alex. You know, when you say all of these things about our people suffering, the drugs and stuff, it sounds so familiar because these are the things that we've been seeing for a long time. We have consistently been pushing these things. We've talked about abusive governance. We've talked about lack of drugs in JFK. Alex Jones, take this advice from me since you give me a previous advice. I suggest that you take a time and go to Liberia. Spend a month in Liberia. Switch off your phones. Don't get any kind of biased information from internet activity. Engage the people. If you don't leave Liberia a changed man in terms of perspective, right? Call me the next day and say, Duke, you were wrong. My brother, I sat on the platform every day. And I will admit, even some people who said some things that I actually oppose, some of those comments they made make sense now. But
thank you, Duke.
Because I did not have the experience. So, Liberians, we are our own problem. The voters are our own problem. We will champion reforms. We will talk about change. We will say all of the things that our people need. But Alex, let me tell you this. At the end of the day, we'll get defeated at the polling station because the ground, the way things are processed, the way things are done, it does not support the cause that you and I stand for. So yes, we'll continue to talk because our conviction allows us to. But I'm telling you, there is a major problem in that country. And I'm encouraging you, get away, go there and see for yourself. And you will have a change of heart and a change of mind about how to engage our people going forward.
Thank you, Duke. I don't know who's next, so I'm going to leave it open.
I'm next.
Let's use Morris.
Okay. All right. So let me just say this. Number one, whether politics or in real life, I always try to be fair and objective. That's a moral decision. Meaning, even if I disagree with you or your political affiliation and you're saying the right thing, I will defend you. Musa Bility is a hero in Liberia simply because Musa Bility has allowed all kinds of views, including mine, yours. What politician, the ANC have their little chat room. If you're not there praising and lifting Ellis coming up, you'll never be there. Musa Bility, like you say, he owned a station because I had the opportunity to produce a show there. And I was one of the harshest critics at the time. Musa Bility was with Ellis Cummings. And I'm one of the harshest critics of Ellis Cummings, John Weir, and Joseph Boca. Nobody told me what to say. Nobody questioned me. Okay? So let's give the man a credit. They give credit where it is due. The John Weir station, nobody will come there. They own the LBS. The LBS is belonging to the Liberian people. It don't belong to the government. But what Joseph Boca not doing, not tell you by going and pulling over, shows like this should be broadcast on LBS according to our law. But the president get it and say that he private thing. So I would say yes, you disagree with Musa Bility all you want, but he has shown a record of tolerance. He's the only person the only senator representative that can count on a panel. I see Alice coming there. I see Joseph Boca there yet. I see Dr. Clarence Moniba. I see Alex Jones. I see Musa Bility and other political leaders. So if what you're talking here is, let your other political leaders come if they want to say something to the Liberian people. You're not running for anything. You don't have a political party. Musa Bility does. You don't carry any movement. Alex Jones is. He has been. Okay? So I just wanted to address that. The second part here is when I go to Liberia, it does not change the objectivity of what's going on in Liberia. You can't tell me because you go in Liberia for 2 weeks, so you know more than Liberia.
It does.
Listen, hold on. Listen here.
Finish that. I will correct you on that. And I will tell you why.
Stop interrupting me. I did not interrupt you.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. You did that earlier, but that's fine. Go ahead. But I will submit you on that.
Let him land.
Knowledge, somebody can be on Earth and they know more about Pluto than never been to. Okay? Condoleezza Rice is an expert in Russia. She never been there. So reading and comprehension and research does not mean you have to be physically in the place, or because you go to Liberia for 2 weeks now, you know Liberian politics more. I live in Liberia. Okay? I went through the struggles in Liberia more than any of you guys.
Oh, how so?
What you talking about? Listen to me. What you talking about? Let me educate you. Let me finish. You learn how his word. You learn how his word. Duke how his word. I will speak my word. Let me educate. Boy, you never interrupted him. I will be finishing in a minute. Just let me say my piece. Okay? Going to Liberia for vacation and staying in a hotel with US dollar. That's not being in Liberia. When I lived in Liberia, we had to dodge rockets and eat buckwheat and plumb over their bodies. While you were somewhere sleeping in some other country, I was there. So you don't educate me about suffering in Liberia. Okay? My father was murdered in Liberia while I was there. You or your political leader, none of them can tell me anything about Liberia suffering. Okay? So I just wanted to clear that part. Nothing you can say. You can go to Liberia 100 times. You cannot compare the experiences that I have had in Liberia or the knowledge that I have accumulated from living in Liberia. So I know some of you jump on, you go on vacation, it's like going to a resort in Jamaica. You go there for 1 day, then you say you expert in Jamaica. So thank you very much. The issue here is we must address the issue that the Liberian people are facing.
All right.
You keep interrupting me. If you always,
we're interrupting you because I'm about to grill you, and I'm waiting to do it. I can't wait.
All right.
Let me hold on.
Oh, yeah, because it's personal. And I will deal with you one by one.
Oh no, trust me.
Let me finish. I'm here. The reason I'm here, listen, the reason I'm here is to educate the Liberian people, as I've always done. I've written more paper on solution in Liberia than any of you here. Professor Larry Kennedy, on this show that you're calling Professor Larry Kennedy, he reached out to me and made me the business and economic editor for his paper. Some of you can't even read one paragraph correctly. You want to talk politics. You can't talk about something you don't know about. Coming in and going doing monologue on issues. What's your solution? What's your solution? I have proper solution, right solution. Solving the problem of corruption, solving the problem of you talking about the government bringing equipment. Your very government that you say you support them. You are part of the problem because you don't know something and you jump wherever the wave going, you support it, then you come out and say, oh, I'm sorry, I support that. If you will talk to someone else, maybe we'll teach you guys something. Thank you.
Can I do my closing?
All right, Lofa, let me go through
Duke, hold on. Let them hear from Grace.
Once she finishes and stuff, give me an opportunity to come back here.
Thank you. I want to thank TCA for allowing me being here. And it was nice being on the platform today. I just want to say that nobody is trying to Lofa, we don't insinuate that people praising other people when they don't agree with your views. That's why an open dialogue is about. We would disagree. So if people don't agree with you, doesn't mean we're trying to praise Musa Belete because he owns station. We got money here. We work in this country. We can pay other radio stations to carry this show. So we don't have to sing anybody. But the thing is, when things are in a different view from your view, it's different. Everybody feels differently about stuff that's happening around the country. So I just wanted to say that, we come here in love, and there's love abide. We have different views. We are not enemies. We come here and I say my view, say if we will move on. That's the beauty of Liberia politics, right? So we don't hold any grudge and we just move on. We say what we have to say. But it was a nice show tonight, and we hope that the government come in with proper information on the equipments for the rules that is passing around here. And I want to say that I applaud Amara Kone and Martin Colley. I don't get along with Martin Colley. I'm waiting for Amara Kone to come on the platform because I got some questions for him. I will tell him, ask him my questions, and it's about Liberia, and I disagree with some of his policies and his politics. But at the same time, when something is supposed to be out there and they put forth the information out there, we grasp it and we try to put that information for our people to know, for the government to work with for the people. So it was nice being here, and thank you.
Thank you. All right. Can I go, Lofa?
Go ahead, dude.
Thank you. Great conversation, great show. Chuchu, you made reference of writing economic reports for a blog owned by Professor Larry Kennedy. When was the last time you wrote any economic report for any reputable firm? That's the first question we should be asking. Because I can create a blog in a newspaper and have you write stuff in it, but show me your professional expertise that you claim, which current institution that you're working for that you write any kind of economic analysis or financial analysis about. Please tell us, number one. You see, look, I said earlier that it took me going to Liberia more than weeks, by the way, more than months, 2 times. After spending years in Liberia, I wish I would come there too, to change my perspective, and it's necessary. You know why? Because the way in which we see things from the outside is completely different than how it's done. I denied it for a long time, but trust me, the mindset will change. Alex Jones, I did not just wake up in America. I lived in Liberia throughout both civil wars and even have family members who were killed. Lost more than 11 members of my family during the Ebola process, number one. Number two, when you talk about hardship and going through things, you don't know me. I was not in another country. I was in Liberia throughout the entire civil war, fighting, doing things, right? Doing what I needed to do to survive in a country that did not have the necessary opportunities. So don't lecture me about hardship because you have no idea what hardship looks like or what the challenges in Liberia look like. Just because you think you're the only one with experience doesn't mean it's a reality. And you know what? I don't live in hotels when I go to Liberia. Yeah, I have homes. I stay in a home when I go to Liberia. Let me just clarify you. You see, this notion that individuals are expert because they write random economic papers for blogs that's not validated based upon the competence shown at any place of employment needs to stop. You will come on the show and be disrespectful to people you know nothing about because you talk loud on social media and think few people are following and listening to your crap and everybody's supposed to fall about it. How dare you? What kind of economic analysis that you have written in the last 2 weeks for any reputable institution? And don't tell me you own a business because anybody can register a freaking EIN and claim expertise. That's not what we're talking about. Learn to be respectful. Don't come on this platform trying to exert and show yourself as something you're absolutely not because you have no idea who you're dealing with. And you are talking about movement. What better movement? What better movement? What makes you think that you have any kind of platform that provides any suggestion? What have you solved in your own personal life to tell you that you have the answers to solve issues in Liberia? Stop stroking your unnecessary ego. You understand me? If we're going to stay on this show here, we're going to be mindful. We're going to be very, very helpful in educating our people. But we're not going to claim something that makes no sense here. You don't know who you're talking to here. You don't know half of the people. And guess what? You're asking for guidance. You could probably be asking one of us for recommendations. Don't come here and be disrespectful to people you know nothing about it. You talk nonsense all the time when you can't even measure up to him. You run around all day talking about economic analysis. When did you provide any economic analysis that's working in Liberia? When was the last time Alex Jones economic analysis is being implemented at any firm in an era of expertise.
Go ahead, close up. Go ahead, close up.
Can I respond to the question he asked?
No,
it is necessary to do so.
Wait,
I just felt like I needed to address that, and I'm glad we did on that. Let's be cautious in how we're addressing it. Don't find me up throwing things around that you know nothing about because you don't know anybody. You can start a brain writing or economic articles for random blogs, right? Show me something where you work for a credible institution. Then I'll endorse you based upon that. It doesn't fly here.
Thank you. Telf, go ahead.
I'm gonna say that people say they won't call because they are on way for our boss.
We don't have much time.
Okay, you're not taking calls. No, let me just close to the. I was glad I was able to come on. Spend some of my day off with you guys. It was a great discussion. I listened. I see a lot of people take the come on out often. I love the guys. They know that we talk behind the scene. I promise, and I'll come on as often from a Tommy perspective. The time they come on, I'm usually busy with work, but I'll come as often as I can. I roll on all different platforms. Most people that know me, I'm all over the place, but nothing much to say. Good show. Again on JFK. I will hope that Tomalin and what's his name, Peabody will connect with JFK people and do some small fundraiser for them. Even if that will amount to buying one bag of drugs to save a life, I think it's a good thing. If the song say, if I can help somebody, my living will not be in vain. So that's my take on that. Before I forget though, I think where is this Keff? Let me get my element. Where's this Keff? I think it's let me tell you.
No way.
No, about closing your committee. Actually, no. On a serious note, I want to, me as well as others want to know the state of this Keff Hassan. And Keff is a very good friend. I call him my cousin Keff because we all got our free time line. But I think it's important. We need to know, is he on leave or absence? What's the backstory? It may not be addressed today, but I think it's important that Keff address this. And if he cannot address it, then the panel need to speak to the public about the state of Keff, because there's just too much going on back and forth. It's all the madness. So we need to know what's going on.
Just say what you want to say. Go to the meeting.
Let me just say this, right? In regards to the Keff issue, obviously there was a rumors out there that he would have appeared on another platform. You did not see Keff on another platform. I don't see the reason to address it going forward.
No, but what the issue there is Keff still on closing argument? Is he on leave or absence?
I mean that is something that I guess
it doesn't have to be addressed today. I'm just saying that is something that should not be looming.
I mean, whether I don't think it is. I don't think it's.
And you can go. No, it's just a recommendation. You can go in your.
I agree. Telf, I'm pretty sure you're well aware that you are in direct connection with everybody on here. You could have probably gotten to Tomalin, Peabody, myself, but you brought it out here. The reason why you brought it out here is because you wanted. Yeah, your time was close, but we are saying to you that Kev did not appear on any other platform. He did not appear on any. Okay, Kev Hassan, if there is a need, I want to believe. If there's a need to address Keff's absence from the platform, we will do as expected. I don't think thus far there is any reason why we as far as I'm concerned.
So you're not speaking for everybody else. That's your opinion.
That's what I just said.
Okay, but let me speak my own opinion. I think that because he's a panelist on there and they're all to a guest, because there's so much rumor of late with Keff in the news, it's important. He's a full-time panelist here. We hold the Liberian government accountable, right? Accountability starts from us. So we need to know the state of Keff. What is the state of Keff? If he's still on closing argument, is he back to spoon? What's going on here? We don't need to know all the intricacies, but at least
So let me ask you a question. What actually instigated your concern?
Oh, but I just told you that what about Peabody or Papi for my mom? I just told you.
Well, I asked a question. It was because you heard things in the media, right? He did not appear. Keff did not appear for any interview. I don't see reason for us to really invest time into that. So that's just my view. There's no reason for us to invest time.
Let me do my closing here.
haven't done my closing.
Okay.
We've done closing.
There's a special, special thing for all. I want everybody to listen to this. I just got this right. This happened in Monrovia, and everybody should be aware, especially those living in Liberia. See, my family and I witnessed a scene from the window around 1:30 a.m. to 2:45 a.m. today. I have decided to share so that we all keep guard. Someone intentionally left a baby wrapped in a white cloth right in front of our gate. The baby cried for over 30 minutes.
Oh my God!
And it stopped crying. A guy in black hiding behind our wall crawled to hit the baby again to cry. When they realized no one was coming out to check on the baby, he crawled to carry it off the road. And in a few minutes, a taxi came and they went away. We called the contact number of our neighbor. We asked if he had seen anything of that sort around his house, and he informed us that it's a new strategy of armed robbers, and that is his elder brother was robbed last week using the same method. Let's all be guarded. Please inform your family and friends. Thank you. May God continue to guide and protect us all. So that's what happened in Monrovia. Somebody sharing with us, so we should be aware. They'll put a baby down, and it's some people, we are very compassionate people. We want to say, "Oh, the baby crying." When you go there, they may grab you. So
it seems happy in the U.S. too, though, from time to time too. Yeah.
So let's be aware. Okay. Yeah. But guys, it's been a good show, and on the issue about Keff is still part of the closing argument.
Thank you.
I'm sure by Wednesday, hopefully, Keff will be appear to address part of the closing argument. And guys, enjoy your Memorial Day and have fun, man. Look,
I don't get to give my closing remarks.
Well, man, you already gave up.
You want to protect me.
Hey, Alex, that's not good.
I can get you on tomorrow. I didn't want you to say
we're running out of time.
A small board or hit. I look for I'll get tomorrow.
All right, good night. Good night. Good night, guys.
And I'll tell you the time exactly, 9 minutes down, 12 o'clock here in Liberia. Sorry that had 21 minutes climbing up to 1 o'clock. It has been very much fascinating, educative. Let me say many thanks to the team that held up and what is certain point now. That's the man Zeze Bala for reading this program. The team that 2FM96.1 in Nema County Saclapie for also relaying this program. Let me say many thanks to you for your listening role. And more specific, that's you, our online viewers, for burning your data. Let me say many thanks to you. And many thanks to the panelists. We'll catch you that going to be on Wednesday, at which time we'll be at same time. Same station 96.1. My name is Henry Jara. On behalf of the team, I'll say bye-bye from my end.
I got no time to watch humankind. I only watch it on my day. Yeah, I know it's the best I have learned.